That is, dude.
Yeah, so
The whole situation is nuts.
that that's actually a really good way to put it. The whole situation is fucking crazy. Let me
Not, yeah.
fucking
Mm,
process that for a second. Jesus. So like Destiny, it seems, was
mm.
process that for a second. Jesus. Was sending so like nudes and sex videos he took of people without their consent. Process that for a second. Jesus.
Yeah,
Was
I mean, I
sending
don't
so
know.
like
There may be some that
nudes
consented,
and
but I
sex
would have
videos he
to.
took of people without their
I
consent.
would be shocked if a vast majority of them
Yeah,
did not,
I mean,
didn't gave consent. So there may
That
be a few
is.
that knew that they were being recorded. I seriously doubt if a vast majority of them knew.
Well,
And
and he's.
nobody that I know of gave consent for him to send it to anybody else. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, oh, that's the part that's really gross, is that he sent it to people. Like,
Yeah,
Jesus, dude. Like,
yeah.
so, okay, I don't like the idea of people taking sexual videos and pictures of people without their consent. However, given the current
Mm-hmm.
climate and how easily somebody can just make a random accusation and everybody will just immediately believe them, including in a lot of cases like the police.
Right, right.
I can understand why one might do that as a form of like, you know what, I have evidence that this is completely consensual, like no one could watch this video or see these pictures and think like, oh yeah. So I could see somebody thinking that. But the part where he's sending them to other people as a means of seducing said other people, that's
Yeah, I
just
didn't
fucking
understand that at
bonkers to
all.
me. Like,
Yeah, I
can you
like I said,
imagine?
I was, dude. Yeah, it's fucking nuts, man.
Can
Yeah,
you
like I said,
imagine
I
you're
feel
like
like
talking to some chick and you're like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, oh, hey, I think you're really cute. Why don't you watch this video of you blowing some other guy and then tell me what you want? You know, like, what the fuck?
yeah, yeah. Apparently, he would like record himself like blowing other dudes off of Grinder or fucking getting blown by dudes off of Grinder and that kind of shit. Obviously, without without the dude's consent, seemingly. Yeah,
Yeah. It doesn't matter if
he
it's a
kind of
woman or a
recorded
man.
everything.
I don't really care who he's fucking. It's
Yeah,
gross
yeah. Well, I'm
to
talking about the
fucking.
consent thing, dude.
Yeah, it's gross to not have their consent that you're recording all this stuff
Yeah.
that's going on and like them not knowing it.
So,
That's really fucked up.
yeah, that's what makes me that indicates to me that his reasons for recording were not for
Yeah, no, I
proving
mean
consent.
that's. I was saying that not that that's what he was doing. I'm just saying like that's the only thing I could think of that would even remotely come close to
Yeah.
making me feel like,
Hmm.
well,
I'm
okay, I can kind of
surprised.
understand why you have all that material.
I'm actually surprised he hasn't come up with that. Big brain destiny. Claim that's why he was doing it.
Yeah, it's the
Hmm.
smart play. That being said, so all that being said, like what he did was 100% wrong. Definitely agree it was wrong.
Yeah.
She very
Hmm.
clearly is looking for a payday. From what
Yeah.
I've
Well,
seen, and
yeah. It's
she's
not
throwing
like
around like
100%, but yeah.
suicidal constantly. Constantly. Every time
Yeah.
somebody's
Although.
questioning anything, it's like, well, I'm feeling really suicidal and I need money. And it's like,
Hmm.
all right, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
now I'm starting to
Yeah.
wonder, about your fucking motivation
Yeah. I
here.
don't
It's
think.
just
Yeah. Again,
like, and I get it.
if
You
you're
want to
gonna
get
fuck
back at him for
destiny
what
to
he
begin
did, but like, file criminal charges.
Yeah, again, anybody that's gonna fuck Destiny to begin with is probably not the nice, you know what I mean, the
Not a
most
good
decent
person to
human being.
start with,
But
yeah.
some of the, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Although I don't know that it. I mean, most likely it was just fucking bullshit. But I can also see a scenario where a woman was recorded without her consent, and it was sent out, and it got leaked out to everybody.
Oh, I'm not saying she
Um,
doesn't feel bad about everything, and this isn't like fucking awful for her.
yeah, but no, I can see that like for a woman, I can imagine that making you suicidal.
Oh no,
She's
absolutely.
most likely dating. Yeah, she's most likely just fucking, you know what I mean? It's most
It,
likely manipulative, but I can definitely see a situation where she's serious.
uh, uh, I can say like not necessarily for sure, because the only person who knows that 100% would be her. It sounds like
Yeah.
the bullshit I hear from clients that just want attention. The way she's using it and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the stuff,
yeah.
like, so
No,
from
that's
that respect.
definitely.
But yeah, like, you know,
Yeah,
I can
that's
see
definitely most
somebody.
likely.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
somebody
that's definitely
feeling
most likely.
suicidal, but yeah.
Yeah, again, because it's gonna get out. I mean, fucking like friends and family end
Oh
up coming
yeah.
across the shit. 'Cause people will fucking deliberately send it to your friends and family. Um, so yeah,
Well,
I can imagine
people
somebody
have a
being suicidal in that
weird,
situation.
like, just as a general thing, like right now, um, young people have some weird fucking beliefs about like things that they're doing.
Yeah,
Like and how they
yeah,
should
like
just be like without
thinking
any
that's okay.
consequences. Like you know, you just go out and do whatever everything you want. There's no consequences. Bang whoever it is. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, it's just like you just do everything, and there's never any consequences for your actions, whether if there should be or not. And it's so weird to me, because it's like, well, of course there's consequences to your actions. Like that's just like that's just how that works.
yeah,
Like you don't.
very odd.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's fair or not. Like I don't know, I get it. It's not fair. Blah blah blah. But it's just
Mm,
like that's the way the real world works. You know, like you do something, there's
yeah,
consequences. Like whether they're reasonable or not. And one of those things is, you're
yeah,
gonna do like porn, people are gonna judge you for it. Yeah. Is
yeah.
it
I couldn't
fair?
remember.
No,
I think
probably not. Is it realistic? Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Did it say in that video whether she was okay, like she knew she was getting recorded? I can't remember if it said that or
I
not.
think it seems to imply she did not know she was being recorded. And that a lot of
Yeah,
the people that were involved did not know they were being recorded, which is
yeah,
pretty fucking disturbing.
yeah,
Especially if you're, it should be if you're especially if you're a feminist. My God, like
yeah,
that is one of
yeah.
the
Dude, that's the other
cornerstones
thing.
of their like thing is like consent, consent, consent. You
Yeah,
should be
that's
constantly
just
going, oh baby, can I please keep fucking you? You know, we've been having sex for the last 15 minutes, but I want your consent for the next 2 minutes. You know, like
yeah,
if
it's
some of
fucking
the
weird, dude.
nonsense is to be believed,
Yeah,
you know, it's like there's not even implied consent in any of this, because it seems like none of them really knew what was going on. But also the fact that he's sending these to other people without their consent, whether they agreed to be recorded or not, like that's pretty gross.
yeah, yeah. Well, apparently he would send around all these fucking DMs with Lauren Southern to fucking chicks to fucking show off how desirable he was too.
That still blows my mind. I just do not understand how that works.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you gotta
Well,
be
Lauren
pretty
Southern's
fucking
really dumb.
desperate to get laid to like be like, oh well, this guy's sending me
Yeah,
porn
yeah.
of
I
other
know.
people, man. I really want to do it with him now. It's like he's gonna
Yeah.
send your porn of like he's how much more of a indication do you need that he's gonna like make recordings and stuff whether you want him to or not, and send it to people whether you want him to or not, because he's already doing
Mm,
it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Mm.
so to a
Yeah.
certain
No, I
certain
didn't say
extent, it's
that.
kind of like,
No.
well, if you're one of those people who he got by sending recordings to, then I kind of feel like you don't really have much to fucking complain about, because like he literally did that right in front of you, and you're like, I can't believe he's done that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how you got involved in this whole thing. Is he did that with you? You know, like he sent him to you.
Yeah. No, like I said in the note there, I feel very fortunate that I was able to get laid. When I was working a minimum wage job,
Yeah,
and
without
I didn't
being
need to do
famous
all
and
that kind of shit.
having all that money,
Yeah.
and getting
Yeah.
laid. Well, most men can do that. That's not a hard. That's not
Yeah.
really like that difficult of a thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
because as it turns out, women like sex. They get horny too. They're interested in getting laid. You know,
Yeah.
it's
That's why I'm
strange
like,
how that
dude, you're
works.
fucking, uh, dude's multimillionaire certainly by now.
Oh yeah,
And
like a lot of
pretty
these
famous
YouTubers that
as
claim to
far
be
as
like
it goes.
poor all the time are millionaires and shit like that.
Yeah, so I'm like, you're fairly famous. I mean, you know what I mean, as far as that
Like
kind of shit
just
goes.
being that
He's pretty
famous
fucking well known.
is more than enough to get like laid. Especially here's the
Yeah,
part that bothers
yeah.
me. How old is Destiny? He's in his like 40s, right?
He's like He's at least in his 30s.
Either
Let me see
way,
if I
it's
can
still
find
really
out.
weird that he's going after a fucking 19-year-old. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's pretty gross, man. That's borderline grooming behavior to me. Like that's kind of pedo. I mean, it's not like literally pedophile, but it's like that's on the same level in my opinion. Personally, just being in your late 30s and you're going after like a 19-year-old. Like, yeah, it's not illegal, but man, is it fucking gross.
yeah. He's 36, by the way.
36, yeah, and he's going after 19-year-olds
Yeah,
and shit. That's pretty fucking weird and gross, man. I get it.
yeah.
I
It's
get it.
fucking
19-year-olds can be super,
man.
super hot, but
Yeah, well, he's just
instead of,
fucking everything. Like he's
yeah.
not all that discriminate. Like he is just gonna, apparently he's just fucked. I believe one of the people said he's fucked his way through half of Twitch. Was one quote I heard. He's probably fucked his way through half of Twitch. The people that work with him, dude, that are fucking sweeping for him. I don't know if they laid out any of that in that video,
Oh yeah, it's like
but
they have
like this
people who are
bitch.
basically their job is to handle this kind of shit.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Where like
pretending that
people
they're
are
like
mad
wanting to
or
help her. Yeah, they're pretending that they're on her side, that they want to help her,
and they're
when
actually
their
trying to help him.
entire
Yeah.
fucking income is dependent on Destiny. The reason that they got in bed, literally, probably, and figuratively, um, is because they knew they weren't gonna. They fucking what's her name? Not so erudite. I don't know if you've heard of that bitch, but she
Mm.
does a show with Destiny, um, and I think she realized that she's decent looking. She's not fucking like particularly hot,
So she
but
travels
she's
to his
she's
house to get blown
attractive.
by, blow him every once in a while or something. Is that what she's doing?
Yeah, well, she's from Canada. She moved over to start doing the shows. So, like, she's got like I don't know, a boyfriend or husband. I'm not sure, but she's in a relationship. But yeah, I gotta imagine that as part of
Oh,
fucking
there's probably a casting
the
couch in
show.
Destiny's basement for sure.
Yeah, yeah, he's probably requiring like a blowjob a week or a month, or you know what I mean. Like, she probably has to fuck him on a fairly regular basis.
I wonder
Because she, well,
if
again, she
he's
did it,
ever
but she
made the
knew she
mistake
wasn't
of
gonna
making
make
it
it.
blatantly clear what he expects.
Yeah,
Right? So,
yeah,
like, if he
I would
literally has
imagine.
said, like, hey, you know what, I'd love to do the show with you, but you know what would make it really lock this deal in and be your mouth around my cock for, like, once a week.
Oh,
You know,
I
like, if he was
forgot. There
dumb
was
enough
one
to say that
spot
or something
where
like that, like, that would be really fucking funny, because that shit's gonna start coming out. Like, if this chick starts filing a
yeah,
lawsuit and has any chance of winning, there's going to be a lot of people piling on because they're all going to be like, wait, that guy might be going down real hard and he might not be making the same kind of money he is now. Like, he probably won't be
yeah, yeah.
completely destroyed or removed from the internet unless he goes to jail, which would be fucking awesome because he should.
Yeah. No,
And
I've definitely heard
that's
some
what you should.
people.
What should happen if you're taking people's like porn, like making porn of people without their awareness, and then giving it to other people without their consent? That should be jail worthy. I mean, I'm not 20 years, but
Yeah. Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
couple of years
Well,
in
the
prison,
girl.
absolutely, man. Like 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
That seems pretty reasonable to me, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that girl apparently has said that she's bringing both criminal and civil charges against him. I don't know if she's going to actually do that, or he's going to be like, "Oh shit, I guess I do have to
And
pay her
yeah,
a
I give
shitload of
her.
money."
I would not want to associate with this shit. Like, I would.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, for
She's
sure.
nothing but red flags.
She
But I
seems
give her a little
slimy.
bit of
Yeah,
leeway just for the fact of like she's definitely doing a lot of emotional bullshit right now. So even if she is using suicide as
yeah,
like
yeah.
like it's like a bullshit like thing. Oh, I'm so suicidal. Oh, I'm so suicidal. Like constantly like. I
Yeah.
understand where she's in a really shitty place right now. So like that's fair. You know, like it's not an appropriate thing to do. I don't like it, but it's like. All right, I kind of see what's going on. Like, there's a lot of shit stacked against you. You're dealing with somebody who has like insane fans, like who will do kind of anything.
Oh yeah,
A lot of these
yeah,
people, like,
yeah.
it's crazy, man. Like the
Yeah. I mean,
fans are
there's a
too.
yeah, there's a decent amount of his fans that are like, "Oh, this is fucking okay. That's enough. I'm done with this guy." But for the most part, if they hadn't left him by now, I mean, it's just not. It's not like this is unknown that he's a fucking scumbag, right?
Here's the thing that gets me.
Um,
Like, I understand his fans not leaving, but why are places like Twitch and YouTube not saying, like, we have enough evidence that what you're doing is not only illegal but incredibly reprehensibly immoral. We're just gonna take you
yeah,
off
well,
our
he's
platform. Like, you're not.
yeah,
We don't want you
he's
on
been
our
banned from
platform
Twitch for
anymore,
a long
man.
time.
Sorry, like
He's
you
been
need to
banned
go.
from Twitch for years, by the way.
Oh, is he banned from Twitch? He's still banned from Twitch?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah,
Because he shouldn't, like, platforms shouldn't be working with him anymore. Like, that should be the end
yeah,
of his career
for
because
sure.
I mean, I wouldn't want fucking Destiny as, like, my fucking, like, draw for an audience for my
Yeah.
platform. That would be bad fucking
But yeah,
business.
it's as far as him getting on like Fox News or MSNBC and that kind of shit. That's over. Piers Morgan will probably still have him on because Piers Morgan's a fucking uh,
I,
circus barker or whatever the fuck you're
dude,
gonna call him.
I would not be surprised to find Piers Morgan engaging in similar behavior.
Yeah, he's probably smarter
A
about it
lot of
though.
these people who are like Destiny, where they're quote unquote left wing. A lot of these people are just grifters, man. They're just saying what they know
Yeah,
people want to
yeah,
hear. They're not really
yeah,
on anybody's side politically. They're just whatever is going to make them the most money and whatever that people want to hear. They're
yeah.
happy to say it as long as you just keep paying.
Yeah, well, the fact that he and Lauren Southern were a thing is a pretty good indicator. Because I mean, there you can certainly have opposite political opinions and
Oh,
still love each other. But I feel like that is a pretty strong indication that both of them are fucking grifters and don't actually believe this shit. Well, actually, yeah, no, the behavior itself. Lauren Southern, they were both married at the time,
oh yeah. Well,
and they were
Lauren
both
Southern
considering
claims to be one of those ultra right wing,
trad
super
wives.
moral
Yeah,
people, and she's banging somebody on the side. He claims to be
yeah,
like this
yeah,
ultra liberal person, and he's like taking videos and pictures without people's consent and sending them to
yeah.
other
Oh
people.
yeah, no, yeah,
Uh,
no. He's definitely acted like he's a moral authority, dude.
but the one thing,
Plenty of
oh, that
times.
was the other thing about Pixie that I forgot to mention. Um, every time she's like looking for something, as far as like it's clear she's looking for financial restitution in some respect as well. Like she wants
Right.
money out of this. And
Mm,
every time he makes any kind of offer, she ups it. So it kind of
yeah.
feels like she's
Oh yeah.
also just probing to see how much she can get with him all the time. And whether that was
Mm,
like in preparation for the lawsuit of like, well, he's already offered, 200, at one point she was looking for him to pay for her law school tuition, like
yeah, I
200,000,
don't
so
know if
she could
that's
go to
been
like law school
confirmed.
and shit.
Yeah, was that confirmed? I didn't watch all of that video to be honest. Or I was
She
doing other
was
shit.
doing it through one of his intermediaries. It sounded like
Yeah, yeah,
straight
yeah. And
something or
that's the
other.
other
One of
thing.
his little intermediary people was like, well, she's considering law school and would expect you to pay the tuition or something. And I said, well, I don't. He's gonna have to like have some sort of evidence that you're actually going to like. It sounded very much like that was an
Right.
offer. And
Yeah, no, I had heard that. Yeah, oh yeah, no, I definitely heard that floated out over the last few days. And
well, they were
yeah, it's
reading
not
messages
surprising.
from people about it, like actual like stuff for the
Oh yeah,
show
yeah,
was
yeah.
from
That's
leaks
right.
and stuff. So I
Yeah.
was like, that seems really dodgy. I don't know how true any of this is. Like
Mhm.
just to be clear,
Yeah,
anybody
I
who
mean that.
might actually be listening for once,
Yeah,
I
the
don't know the
girl
fucking truth
Pixie
of
had
any of this.
also.
This is all conjecture.
Yeah,
Just like this is
yeah,
all fucking guesses on our part.
yeah. The girl Pixie had also at one point said like, I want this to be like the most expensive mistake, so he doesn't
Which
do it
I
again.
understand.
Well,
Like he violated
yeah,
her
so
trust
it
in a
doesn't happen to somebody
major
else.
fucking way. But
Yeah, so
honestly,
I assume that is definitely
I don't
part of
want
the
people knowing
goal.
I'm
I
a whore
assume.
for money.
Yeah, yeah,
Comes off that way.
um, yeah. It's like I said, it's like most stories nowadays. There are no good guys on
No,
any
yeah.
side of this, really.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, and
yeah.
even if there is a good guy, it doesn't mean good guys never do anything wrong.
Mm,
Sometimes
right, right.
good people make bad choices and
Dude.
do bad things.
Yeah, and this all started because the did he mention President Sunday at all in that? He didn't, did he?
Oh, was this from
Uh,
Trump getting like inaugurated or something? Were they like?
no. The
Oh,
YouTuber President Sunday.
oh, I didn't
He's a
know there was a
YouTuber.
YouTuber named President Sunday. I don't know
Okay.
who that is.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I had found out about him because Nick had some kind of weird fucking situation with a friend of his, a girl named Eco, some Asian chick. But anyways, like that's how I
Oh,
first heard about him. I had actually followed him for the last couple months because he seemed to be he was a leftist fucking retard, but he seemed to be fairly reasonable as far as those people go. And I always like to follow somebody that I can fucking tolerate. You know what I mean? That isn't just constantly infuriating. And he seemed to be that. But he also has a burning hatred for Destiny, right?
I mean
And Hassan.
that's pretty
It's
normal.
weird
I feel
because
like I
see,
have that too. I really don't like it.
yeah,
I don't know if I have
yeah.
hatred
No,
because it's an
that's
active emotion, but like
yeah.
I
No, he seems to
despise
like.
hate Destiny.
That's
That's
weird.
certainly true.
Um, because yeah, he has all this hatred for all these other lefties. He's a fucking Marxist. Like he loves fucking Karl Marx and his fucking books and shit, right? Okay, so
Oh man,
but he
there's a lot
hates
of
Vosh.
thieves that
He
really
hates
like Karl
Vosh. He
Marx,
hates
man. There's a
Hassan.
lot of people who just want to
Yeah,
steal everybody else's stuff, and they're like, Karl Marx is
yeah,
amazing, and it's like you just want free
right.
shit without having to work.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, but he hates Hassan, he hates Destiny, he hates Vaush. I don't know how much you know
Oh,
about him.
because
I
they're
don't know
not
much
fucking
either,
real
but
Marxists. They're just saying what people want to hear.
mm,
I can understand that. That makes
mm,
sense.
yeah. All right. So, anyways, so yeah, he's a leftist, but he hated all these other guys. So I'm like, okay, this guy might actually be a fairly decent person, a little misguided in his beliefs, but like, so I followed him, and he certainly portrays himself that way. But anyways, Nick Diorio had tried to reach out to him like offline, right? Because I guess he was under the impression that Nick and these other commentary guys were sweeping for Destiny. I assume you're familiar with that term. Everybody uses it, so now I do. Everybody in this fucking area of the
I
internet uses
am
sweeping
not
as in,
familiar with that
covering for them.
term, but I am going to
Okay, but
guess
it's
that sweeping is
yeah,
the
covering
act
for
of
them.
basically cleaning up after people's messes for them.
No. Just covering for him in general, like
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going
that's what
after
I'm
him. Like,
saying.
yeah,
You're cleaning up after them. You're
yeah,
like,
not actually. Well, not they're not actively like disputing anything. They're just kind of like not. He thought because they weren't covering it that counted as sweeping. And like Diorio like reached out to him to tell him like, no, dude, I'm not comfortable going forward with this unless the victim actually comes out and first. Because what can happen and what has happened in the past is
oh
it
yeah,
happened to
you end up getting
another guy,
sued.
Chud Logic, with the whole Lauren Southern shit, right? Melina went to this Chud Logic guy and was telling him like, no, that's all fucking absolutely real. He is absolutely because again, whenever it happened or whatever, everybody thought that was all bullshit. Everybody thought that was lies, but again, Melina, Destiny's wife or ex-wife now, but actually wife at the time went to Chub Logic and was like, "Oh yeah, no, this is all real." I kind of went crying to him, like, "Look, this is all real," and gave him like proof of it, right? And then like when he had kind of come out with it, basically Melina just kind of bailed on him and didn't back up any of it,
Oh
and
yeah. Because it's
basically,
essentially a lot of these people on the left just look at people as tools.
right, yeah,
You got to be
yeah. So
really,
that
really
got like,
careful. You got to get everything with evidence, man. You can't trust somebody's word
yeah,
on the left. Like that's just, I
yeah.
would never.
But yeah, so basically, Melina, I guess Destiny, I don't know if he threatened her, if he gave her more money, or whatever the fuck happened, but she backed off of all that shit. And Chud looked like a fucking liar. You know what I mean? Like, Chud looked like he was just making shit up.
Oh, that's
Obviously,
brutal.
now we know that he wasn't. Yeah, no, he took a fucking huge hit for that. And that's happened a few times where Destiny's either paid them off or whatever the fuck, but they fucking recant this shit, dude. And say no, that never happened, even though
I
they
would
told the
imagine
person that came out with it.
Destiny either pays people off or threatens them with legal action that they can't fight back against.
Yeah, with Melina, I think he had just as much incriminating shit on her because they're both fucking degenerates. Okay, but anyways,
That's probably, yeah,
President
probably
Sunday.
blackmail. That wouldn't be out of character from what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah. So anyways, so President Sunday got a hold of a lot of this shit, a lot of the DMs and all that shit. And Diorio, because again, he thought Nick Diorio, Turkey Tom, and all these other major commentary guys were sweeping for him because they weren't talking about it and coming out with it. And so Nick had reached out, like, wanted to get in touch with President Sunday about it offline, and tell him like, no, I can't, and like unless she comes out with it. Um, you know what I mean? And all the shit that I'd mentioned, he kind of brought up. Like, this has happened before, and people just recant, and then, we're hung out to dry, and we lose all of our credibility, even though we're telling the truth. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Just
so he
telling
got
the
on and
truth is
talked to him
not
about
enough
that.
in any situation.
Yeah. Okay,
You
so this was
always need to
offline. They
have
had this
some sort of
conversation.
irrefutable evidence before you put stuff out there if you're on YouTube or something like that. Because, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and even
you
if you
have to
don't,
be
even
above
if you do,
reproach.
yeah, even if you do, yeah, even if you have all that, the people involved can get paid off and say, no, that's not right, that's not real, or whatever.
Oh, that's what I'm
So
saying. You
anyway,
should
so
be having
President Sunday,
like say with this Molina thing, you should have all of your communication be very clear that you're recording everything.
all
So that
right, so
when she
this is what
turns around
happened.
and says like, "Oh no, that's not true," you
Yeah.
can just play a fucking audio of her saying exactly what she said. Be like, I will
Okay,
absolutely
okay,
use this. This is all being recorded. I won't do this any other way because that's
yeah,
yeah, I would never fuck with that.
okay. Well, this is what happened in that offline conversation. Because President Sunday was going to fucking try to railroad Diorio and Turkey Tom and all these people for not talking about it,
Oh yeah,
right?
which is and they're
Um,
just doing the smart thing, which is sad.
Yeah. So anyway, well, Turkey Tom did. Yeah,
Hmm.
he's been way too charitable. Like he actually had went and hung out with Destiny before, and they're kind of chummy, or they were. And yeah, if you listen to some of his shit, he was absolutely like, well, we don't know that for sure. That kind of bullshit when it's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
goddamn epic. But Diorio wasn't like that. Diorio is a fucking. Diorio seems like an actually decent person, dude. Out of all the commentary guys, him and Augie RFC seem to be two of
I
the
think you've sent
the
me
only
stuff
ones that
from
have any
Diorio
kind of fucking
before.
right. Yeah. So, anyways, all right. So that offline conversation that they had, President Sunday recorded it. Although Nick did too, but he's in a position where he knows he kind of has to do that because of stuff that's happened very recently. You're almost an idiot if you don't record these interactions.
Yeah.
Nick
Oh
was doing
God.
it just to
No.
protect
Yeah.
himself. Nick's doing it to protect himself. President Sunday was doing it. The reason I assume President Sunday talked to him is because he wanted to get some shit on him. In fact, he even said something along the lines of, "Yeah, no, I kind of changed my mind on you after talking to you and hearing where you're coming from, that kind of thing." But he still put that call out. He still put the fucking call out without Nick's. Nick didn't know he was being recorded, although you know what I mean. You can kind of. But Nick was also like, "No, there's some things that I said that were a little further than I would go publicly and officially." You know what I mean, as far as
Yeah.
expressing opinions on shit. So yeah, President Sunday had basically called him like the night before, and it was like, "Oh, hey, I'm coming out with all this shit, and by the way, you're gonna be a part of it." And even when he said it, then he kind of thought like maybe a couple excerpts from their conversation. He put out almost the whole thing, except the parts that kind of make him look scummy, right?
Oh yeah, because they never
Um,
put up anything that could even remotely make them look bad. These kind of people.
Yeah, like there's weird shit. Like when he was talking to Yorio, he was talking about how it could be revenge porn, and then President Sunday is like, "Oh no, so let me stop you there. It's definitely not revenge porn. It's whatever else it is, I guess." But then in his video, I guess he forgot he said that because he left that in, and then in this video, he's calling it revenge porn. That
Oh,
other
that's
part.
fucking
So it's
funny.
fucking. But yeah, they had but President said they actually had got in contact with him again and told him, "Hey, I'm coming out with this like in the morning, and I'm using the stuff from our call, whether you want me to or not." Basically, like didn't get his consent for recording it, didn't get his consent for putting it out,
I hope he's
just
in a
did it
single
anyway.
party state, because otherwise he's fucked.
Yeah, it'll be fucking interesting. But yeah, and then uh, like you're saying, the suicide stuff was, most likely, it's certainly more likely than not, it was fucking bullshit. But that's not the kind of thing you want to be wrong with, going public and possibly causing something like that to happen. And that's part of the reason Joria was holding off on all this shit too,
Okay, but
because
to
she
be
didn't
fair,
want that to even
hold
be
up
a
though.
fucking possibility.
I don't buy into the and maybe people might disagree with me. I'm sure. I don't buy into the whole like you made someone kill themselves thing. I think it's something that people choose to do themselves. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's a
well,
decision that the person who's doing it makes. No one's making them do anything. People might blame
mm,
you for it after the
mm,
fact, but at the end of
all
the day,
right.
like if she does do something like that, that's her choice. Nobody's making her do it.
Well, if something that you do causes your friends and family to see porn of you with some guy, I feel like you got a little more responsibility if they do kill themselves that they wouldn't have saw if you hadn't come out with it.
I'm not saying the person isn't a terrible person. But I'm just I don't. To me, it's like suicide is something you do. Like nobody does it to you. It's not like murder. You
Yeah,
know what I
I'm
mean?
just
And like
thinking of
it's
if
like
I was a woman, if I was a woman, like as a dude, I don't fucking like I would be fucking pretty fucking embarrassed if like porn came out about me. For a woman, I feel like that's much different. Um, so yeah, and going out with that, I wouldn't do it either. I wouldn't, I mean, that's not the only reason Diorio didn't, obviously, but yeah, that would be enough for me. I wouldn't put that
oh,
shit
I
out
wouldn't
if
put
that
that shit
was,
out just
even
because
a
it's not
small
fucking. It's
possibility.
fucked up to do. You know what I mean? Like you just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's where he was at with everything. And like I said, Diorio seems to be an actual honorable guy, which is pretty fucking rare in that whole,
Yeah, if the
whole
victim of the
circle.
crime doesn't want
Mm,
to pursue it, it's not really up to you to pursue it. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
that's just being a
yeah,
decent human
yeah,
being. That's nothing to do with like to me that has nothing to do with
yeah,
somebody wanting to commit suicide or not. That's just like just don't do it. It's rude. It's shitty. Like if they
but yeah.
want justice, they can get it. If they choose not to, then that's them. Like you don't need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do it for
Yeah. And
them.
President Sunday was like, fuck her. I'm coming out with this because I hate Destiny and I want to destroy him. That's pretty much his motive. Appears to
See,
be his motivation.
so here the only
Mm.
thing I could see is if you know that that person is going to continue victimizing other people and that there are other victims, I would then go try to find other victims and leave that person out of it. You know what I mean? Like, just don't even bring
Yeah.
that person
Yeah.
up, even though you know they're part of it
Yeah.
as
You
well,
find somebody willing to
and
come
leave them
out,
to do whatever
willing to
they want to
fucking come
do.
out
But
publicly.
you now that's a pattern of behavior. We'll find other people that are
Yeah.
victims to go after to help
Yeah.
expose this
Dude,
person
what's
that's
really
doing
funny.
these things that are wrong. You know, like
Okay, what's really funny about the call that he recorded and parts of it that he put out, like or pretty early on in the call with the Oreo that he secretly recorded or whatever,
yeah,
he literally says, like, if I was a psychopath, I would just put this all out. And like 4 days later, he did that. So, like you know what I mean? Like he did the
yeah.
behavior that he said only a psychopath would do. So I was like, dude, what the? Yeah, he's fucking scummy, dude. It
Oh,
sucks.
you know what? The only other
Um,
there is an exception to that. I would say if the victim is a minor, if the victim
yeah,
is a
yeah,
minor, then
should
it
not.
needs to be reported to the police and it needs to come
Oh yeah,
out because you just don't
sure.
tolerate. There's no way that can be tolerated, and you do everything you can possibly do to help protect that person, but at the same time, like that's not something you can like
Yeah,
let sit and go.
yeah, you can't just
In
let
this
it
case,
go.
there's no
Certainly.
minors involved that we're aware of yet. Or maybe
Mhm.
ever. I don't know. Maybe Destiny doesn't mess around with minors. Hopefully not. But
Yeah, I've seen no indication. I hate the guy. I fucking why do I hate him? Yeah, I kind of. The reason the thing I hate about Destiny is the fact that he has influence and he has a large fucking fan base that he seems to do the thinking for them. Like they seem to.
there's a lot of people
Uh,
that let like
yeah,
celebrities do their thinking for some fucking reason.
yeah. Yeah, it's fucked up, but that's what I don't like about him is
Oh yeah.
he doesn't I don't think he believes most of the shit he espouses, obviously. And but these idiots are following him like he does. So I feel like that's actually dangerous. But maybe I'm going too far with that. But yeah, like same thing for Hassan and all these other idiots for fucking socialist nonsense. Um, but yeah. So yeah, President Sunday turned out
I
it would
love how
appear
many capitalists
is
are
a complete
pretending to be
fucking
socialists
scumbag.
to make a profit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no,
like
I think
Destiny and
Hassan.
Hassan and all these other people. It's like they're very clearly just doing this to make money, which is the most
Yeah.
capitalist thing
No,
ever.
it's a,
But they're making money
yeah.
by
No, I think.
pretending to be fucking commies. It's like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
I gotta look up. I gotta look up Hassan's merch store because from what I understand, he's got a T-shirt that says "Eat the Rich." And charges like $80 or some crazy amount. Maybe not $80, but he charges like fucking way inflated prices for his shit. And one of them says "Eat the Rich," and I'm like, okay, so who's the rich? Anybody who makes one or more dollars than you? Is that how you're clarifying it? Because you live in a multi-million-dollar fucking house. Your
Wasn't there
dad is
somebody
fucking
that did
insanely
that where they
wealthy.
like they defined like just recent like it wasn't that long ago like a few years ago where
Uh,
oh no it was Biden, that was what it was. So he where it was like there was a law about like going after people who were wealthy in taxes or something, and it was everybody who made more money than him.
did Biden actually say that? I
It
know he's
wasn't.
far
It
gone,
was
but
no.
no.
It was an actual law where he like actually like proposed that it was like everybody that makes more than the president's salary should have to like pay
Oh,
all these
okay.
extra taxes or something. It was like they were coming after it. It was like it was the funniest fucking thing. I remember it being like a big like point of like
So
people laughing
transparent.
and taking the piss for it
Yeah,
like that. You know, it was like
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but that does seem to be, and again, there's no fucking way Hassan believes the nonsense other than his hatred of Jews. Like I believe that. I believe he's sincere in that. The anti-Semitism seems fucking
Yeah,
sincere.
what is with the anti-Semitism? Like, I don't understand because I know like people were really upset over the Palestine thing, but it's like that's not all Jews, or it's not every Jewish person
Yeah,
is involved with that. That's Israel. It's not
yeah, yeah. In fact, there's a
like some
plenty of
random
Israeli
dude who's like
Jews.
fucking going to the whatever I forget what they call Jewish temples. The
Yeah,
synagogue.
synagogue, I think.
Yeah, the synagogue. Some
Maybe.
random dude in New York going to a synagogue is not responsible for like you know
Yeah.
fucking
Well, shit,
Israel bombing
dude.
fucking
There's
Palestine. You know you don't have to hate everybody that has, it's like for the decisions of a nation.
forget.
That's
Yeah,
just that's silly.
yeah. Forget that, dude. There's people, Israeli Jews, that are against the the shit that they're doing to the,
And
people in Gaza and all that. So there's plenty of fucking Israeli Jews are against that shit.
to be fair, they've
I
only
don't know.
just
I
started
think
getting
they're all fucking
hostages back.
horrible.
They've only
Yeah, I
just
don't know.
started
I
getting
think
some
both
of the
sides are
hostages
horrible. To
that were
be honest
taken
with
in
you.
the attack that was the most recent. But I mean, all the stuff that went on before was pretty terrible. So it's not like there was nothing that the Israelis ever did that was awful.
Yeah,
But it's like
yeah. It's not like there were these benevolent rulers
if
that
you're
were
talking
fucking.
about like the last like year or so, it's like yeah, but Hamas took a bunch of
Yeah, it's been going
prisoners
on
and
fucking forever.
yeah, and held
Yeah,
these prisoners for a long ass time. They were all from Israel, so of course they were bombing people indiscriminately and doing whatever they could. They're like, you have our people hostage. We're going to fucking get them back, whatever it takes. You know.
yeah. I don't know. I honestly feel like both sides are pretty
Oh no,
fucking
no,
terrible and all that.
I'm just saying in this last year or so, the conflict of the last year has all
Yeah,
been about that
yeah. I mean, what else?
primarily.
I mean, they're
Prior to
definitely
that,
in a
there's all
position
sorts of
where
shit on
what else
both
can they
sides
do?
that's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
neither side
again, like
has
I
clean
said,
hands. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, that's for damn sure. But yeah, it's like you are really kind of yeah. It's like I said, I don't know a
Personally,
huge amount
I
about it, but what I do
would like
know,
to see the
that
U.S.
seems to
stay
be
the fuck out of it. From
have
like the
them just be
future
on
on.
their
It's like,
own.
hey, you know what? You guys are clearly never going to get along, and we're not going to be involved anymore. Like, we're not going to give
Yeah,
any
that would
money to
probably
anybody. We're not going to fucking prop anything up anymore. Like, it's time for us to
yeah, that would
withdraw.
be. I would imagine. In fact, I think the peace talks are because Trump was about to become president. because again, Biden's not going to do anything. You know, they knew that.
Oh yeah.
Again, if you think if Trump was in office, all this shit would have happened the way it did.
Oh no,
I don't.
absolutely not. Because Trump would have
Yeah.
probably started bombing them himself.
Yeah. So they were taking advantage of the situation, and the fact that America wasn't going to do shit,
Well,
or was going to help them. They're actually helping
isn't
them.
Trump's
Yeah.
son-in-law, like his daughter's husband,
Yeah, he's
super
Jewish.
super
Yeah.
pro-Israeli? But I mean, he's Jewish, but I think he's
Oh,
super
yeah.
pro-Israeli
Yeah.
too, like
Yeah,
hardcore.
I believe so.
There's obviously somebody who's really, really on the Israel side, like in Trump's like personal circle. So I would be
For
concerned
sure.
as well if I were in their place. Like, oh shit, that's not necessarily good.
hmm Yeah, it's a fucking mess. Whatever the fuck's going on. Yeah.
It's like
Like
the
I said, it's
Ukraine. I
not going to
just I
be.
just want to
Like
see us not throwing our money at horrible people.
Yeah.
Like the Ukraine is just as bad as Russia. There's no reason for us to be supporting one side over the other. Why are we giving?
Yeah.
Well, the
I
only
don't
reason we're
think
giving
we
money
said.
to Ukraine is because a bunch of it finds its way back into our politicians' pockets. Like they're giving money because they're getting money in the back end. So,
Yeah, well, I also remember Biden was already his son had already gotten a shitload of money from him for a no-show job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was he getting like 60 grand a month to be part of some energy company in Ukraine that he
Oh,
did
he got
absolutely
tons of
nothing
fucking
for?
money.
Yeah,
Oh
so
god.
that's part of it too. I'm sure that was paid. Kind of a mutual back scratching going on
Well, I
as
think what people
well.
need to realize is we give $4 billion away over there. There's probably 40 million or so that's finding its way back here in bribes to politicians.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. It's like it's support and it's also like a money laundering thing or something. It seems like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mess. It's a
Well, and you
fucking
notice the
mess.
second that Trump won the election, they were like, "Shit, give him as much money as we can before we're out the door," because they want to keep making as much back in. They want that bribe money as much as they can get before it's over. Try to rob the fucking, leave the pantry bare when you leave the house.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely wanting to make shit as fucking shitty as possible for Trump coming in.
Yeah. Oh
Shit,
man.
they blame him for everything for
So
nearly the entire 4 fucking years Biden was in office.
true.
Any of the bad shit, it's Trump's fault, right?
Oh yeah, as well.
In their mind?
Everything that's bad will be Trump's fault, and everything that's good will be Biden's wonderful things that he did for the next 4 years. Even though he didn't, he fucking destroyed the economy. But I was gonna say, like, let's shift to something a little more entertaining and less disturbing.
All right, real quick, last thing on President Sunday. In those calls, he really seems to be almost. He seems to be rooting for that girl to actually have kill herself because it would make Destiny look so bad. Yeah, it's that fucked up.
I think she's doing it for attention, but or at least like emphasis, like because I think a lot of people just being mentally ill is like super fucking cachet right now. It's like, ooh, aren't you so cool? You have mental health problems. Ooh. Like, it's weird.
But
I don't understand that, but it seems to be the thing right now. But I would never want somebody to actually do that. That's fucked up, dude. That is really
he's literally like, but if she does do it, then that's the end of Destiny's whole media empire that he wants to build. And you're like, what the fuck?
Okay, first of all, no, that's not how that's going to work.
Yeah, no, it's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
he would
not
take
how
more
that
of a
works.
hit.
Just her killing herself. Even if she blames him with like a horrible emotional video that she puts out or something, that still doesn't end his career. Because a lot of people don't realize, like as awful as it may seem to other people or whatever, that's a decision she made for herself. Nobody forced her to do it.
Yeah, even beyond that. Even beyond that, he's still gonna. I mean, he's got fans that are still fucking. Coming up with bullshit rationalizations. Like, he's not going to lose everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That might affect some people.
Well, and the other thing is, like, celebrities get supported so directly by their fans now. So, like, as long as he has a fan base, he's going to have an income base. He's going to leech off of these people forever. Like, they're never going to stop giving him money.
Yeah, it's a very odd thing where like a big chunk of the reasoning seems to be, oh, he's too important for our side. We can't. We've got to keep supporting him. Like it's fucking
Oh,
weird,
it's
dude. I'm like,
all the fucking left right now. Like why all the left
dude,
is so corrupt. Because like
yeah.
the
It's like
right
what the
seems to
fuck?
be like look at Steven Crowder. Like he's still got a fan base, but there's a lot of people who are like, yeah,
Yeah,
he's a fucking joke. You know, he doesn't
yeah,
speak for
yeah,
conservatives anymore. There's very few people I think that really give him any sort of like concern or
yeah,
want to be involved with him in any way. Like,
yeah,
yeah, he still has a big
yeah.
fan
Actually,
base,
yeah,
but nobody
yeah. He's
takes
still
him
got a decent fan
seriously
base, but
anymore.
nobody takes
The
him
most
seriously. Yeah,
conservatives,
I hear
especially
you.
famous ones, have pretty much been like, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with this fucking loser. You know, like
Yeah,
they just walked
yeah.
away.
So yeah, and that's the thing because again, there's a decent amount of people that think already this is enough to ruin destiny. I'm like, you guys are fucking. I wish. I mean, I fucking dude. I would love for that to happen. But
Yeah,
I don't.
I'd love
Yeah,
if
I'll believe it
his
when I see
destiny
it.
was stuck working at like the fucking local McDonald's. Like, you want fries with that?
Yeah,
That would be the
yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
best
it's not
result.
happening.
If that happens from this, that would be amazing. If somebody's like, holy
Yeah,
shit, I went into Taco Bell the other day and Destiny sold me a fucking bean burrito.
right.
You know, like that
Yeah.
would be
I
fucking
don't.
crazy. But yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it seems exceedingly. Yeah, it seems exceedingly unlikely that that's going to happen. So I'm like, you guys are. Yeah, I don't think you understand how fucking nuts. And again, he's cultivated that type of fucking audience. I assume that's part of the reason. You know what I mean?
Well,
The
the
people that
left
are
is a
not going to
cult.
question him.
The left is a cult.
And
We
again,
know this.
not
This is
much.
not news.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, although yeah, Crowder's fans is kind of the same thing. The ones that still stuck by him
Oh
after
yeah.
all that shit. Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's it does seem to be far more prevalent on the left. That's for
Crowder
fucking
was
sure.
like a cult too, though. Like,
Yeah, yeah, still is.
it even took
When
me
he
a
got
little bit.
left.
It even took me a little bit to figure out, like, oh shit, this is all bullshit. Because
Yeah, no, I
like
remember.
he pretended to
I
be
remember.
this moral person, and it was like, oh, okay, cool. But then
Yeah,
like it's like the what do you call what's that other lunatic that was part of his show before he went and lost his mind over the moon?
yeah. Oh, oh,
Owen Benjamin, I think. Yeah, Owen Benjamin, I think.
yeah,
Like that whole thing is a cult. You know, the bears and everything like
yeah,
that. Where
yeah.
like,
It's just yeah. The only thing that really it's just different levels of success. Really, is the only thing that separates them.
yeah,
Different
they're
cults,
all
different levels
cults,
of success.
and I think
But
that's
yeah,
just the
for the
thing
most
that
part,
there's good money in conning people into thinking you're some sort of moral authority and that they should just let you do their thinking and
yeah,
their
thinking
reasoning
form.
for them and stuff. You know, it's like
Yeah, yeah. It's
it's
fucking
lucrative.
bizarre,
There's a
but
lot of people who just don't want to think for themselves.
yeah,
Weird as that may
yeah. It's
seem.
a lot simpler. Yeah, it's much
But let's
simpler.
let's move on to something a little more less disturbing for a few minutes at
Yeah.
least.
Although that does remind me, my ex had gotten back into being like a Jehovah's Witness, and now
Oh,
like she, she was talking about how like before she'd be like talking about like two gay guys or whatever to her young son, and being like, yeah, no, just a different kind of love, and now. She's telling their kid like, no, it's wrong, but you don't hate them. You like pray for them and do all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I didn't really say it because I'm not gonna.
don't
I know
hate
better
them.
than to
Just
argue with this bitch.
treat them like a
But like, how
weird
do you just
pariah.
let? Yeah, yeah. Like, okay, you're letting a religion thinking for you instead of like some fucking left or right leaning fucking grifter, right?
Well,
Like,
I
dude, what
think
the
when
fuck,
you
man?
at least when you very first start to move away from letting other people determine what is and isn't moral for you, and you're really
Yeah,
thinking about it yourself, it's really hard because people don't like being wrong, and you're gonna be wrong a lot.
yeah,
You know, when
yeah,
you're first
yeah.
learning how to figure out what is and isn't moral and what's right and wrong, and what you believe and what you don't believe
Yeah, it
based
takes a
on
lot of effort.
your own
It's a
opinion
lot of
instead
effort
of
and a lot
trying to
of
like just
long
take
term.
somebody else's opinion and not have to think about it. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
effort, but also
yeah,
being wrong is very hard for a lot of people.
yeah, yeah, for
And you're
sure.
gonna be wrong a lot just because you're human. Humans are just wrong a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
There's no
yeah,
way
you
to
might
know
make
everything. You're gonna be making mistakes all the time.
Yeah, you're going to draw bad conclusions. You're going to operate off of bad evidence, or like
Yeah.
bad information.
And so
Yeah,
it's
all
just so
kinds
much
of
easier
shit.
just to never have to deal with that sort of stress and that sort of pain
Yeah,
and let,
yeah.
some
Ugh.
social media influencer or like famous celebrity or religious figure, political figure,
Yeah,
or an amalgam
yeah.
of all
Whoever.
of them together instead of thinking for yourself.
Yeah,
Super easy to just
yeah.
let
Just
that
let them do
happen.
it.
And it's like,
Yeah,
there's
no,
conservatives
I
I
find
agree with,
that
there's conservatives I
disgusting.
don't agree with. There's left wing people I agree with, there's left wing people I don't agree with. That's what
Yeah,
that's and
yeah,
it's messy. And that's how you know
yeah,
like you're actually doing the effort, putting in the work to really try to figure stuff out yourself. And you just have to be able to like
yeah,
allow yourself to be wrong and not take it as like a failure
yeah,
instead
yeah,
of just a
yeah.
part of the process
Get
of finding the
information.
truth, you know?
Yeah, you get new information or whatever. However it happens. Yeah, you realize you were fucking wrong about
Yeah.
something. That should be positive, even how painful it is. Well, you should. Yeah, eliminating that that pride or whatever the fuck you want to call it helps
Pride is a
too.
good way. Yeah,
It's like,
pride.
yeah, I was wrong.
Pride cometh before a
Yeah,
fall. That's pretty accurate.
yeah, pride and ego. Yeah, you're like, no, it's okay to be wrong. Yeah, as long as you understand that, and you know, you want to be right.
What should be
That's
painful and what should be embarrassing is
mm,
actively pursuing
refusing to take
being
your mind.
wrong despite evidence to
Yeah,
the contrary because you
yeah,
don't want
yeah.
something to be true.
Yeah, well, you don't want to have to admit you were wrong. Like that's embarrassing or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Which it
No.
can, it certainly
Sometimes it's
can
just
be.
because you
You should
don't
really
want that
eliminate
thing to be true. Like, there's a lot of people who
it.
are like
Right, right,
closeted gay, super religious. They don't want
right.
gay to be
Hmm.
okay because if it's okay, then they have to change their whole life. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? They
yeah.
want it to be wrong. They need it to be immoral because then they have something to sort of like keep the status quo and they don't have to do anything for themselves.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, it's an odd mindset, man.
there's also
I'm
like
glad I.
parents who've like abandoned their kids because of being gay and they're like it has to be they can't nothing because then they have to realize that they did a horrible thing to their child for no reason.
Hmm.
So it
Right.
has to be true. They're very invested in something that's wrong being true, so they'll actively try to avoid like accepting reality.
Yeah, yeah. It's fucking
It's like with the
yeah
trans thing.
bizarre
It's
to
like
me.
these people that have advocated for the mutilation of children. It's like
Yeah,
if you accept that
yeah. That's
it's a
one of
multi-billion dollar
the worst.
industry that's been influencing people through social media and politicians just to
Yeah,
make
there's a lot
money
of
and they
money in
don't give a
the
shit about children, none of them
therapy.
have ever cared.
Yeah.
And
What was
you've been
that? I forget. I
advocating
think
this and
it
it's
was.
actually more detrimental than it is positive because yeah, kids are fucking confused about their bodies and their gender because fucking puberty happens to fucking
Yeah.
everyone. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, I feel like there's like decades worth of
Yeah.
fucking evidence to show that a vast majority of them end up just being gay,
Yeah, and there's
lesbian,
absolutely
they're
transgender
normal,
people,
or
absolutely a
straight.
real thing. There's absolutely people that
Yeah,
are that can benefit from that surgery and stuff like that down the road. But
yeah,
you just don't do that to
yeah,
little kids, man. You do not.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because again, yeah, for the ones that are, it's really sucks for the ones that is genuinely what's going on. That they might have to wait till they're 18 or whatever to fucking start getting going on that
Yeah.
shit. But it's
I
sorry,
wish there
there's
would
just
be more
fucking too
emphasis put
many
on the people who
thousands
are
of people.
detransitioning, because there's a lot of them, and listening to like
Oh
one or
my
two of them
god,
talk, it's just like, oh my god, I see what's going on, and it's
I feel
so
so
horrible, and
bad,
it's so hard to like deny at
dude.
that point.
Dude, that is disgusting. The way they go after the detransitioners, man, is so fucking
Because they're the
disgusting,
ones that
man.
are like the real victims here. Like it's annoying to everyone
Yeah,
else, but it's like they
yeah. But the people that go after them for, figuring out
for
that, oh, I guess
telling
I'm
the
not
truth of
trans.
their story. Yeah, like
Yeah, I
it's
don't
all about
understand
your truth until it's a truth that they don't agree with, and then it's like, oh no, it's not
Yeah,
right. But anyway, I think we're
so
kind of
fucking
retreading a lot of
crazy.
old ground here. I wanted to
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. All
share
right, what's the
something
happy
kind of
stuff
fun
you want to
and
get to?
more entertaining that's not like disturbing and dark.
Right, right,
Uh,
right.
have you heard the Reddit gaycation story that's going around?
No, dude, I saw the post you made, but no.
So, this fucking Reddit story. I don't know if this is, any Reddit story you take with a grain of salt. Somebody could have just written this whole thing up as a brilliant piece of fiction. But
Right,
this
right.
lady from the UK was talking about how her husband, seemingly out of nowhere, usually I think this is why I'm more inclined to believe it, because there's a lot of people that just don't want to see like the signs until
Right,
it's too
right.
late, until like everything's come to a head. But he comes to her and he's like, "Hey, I would like to take a trip with my brother-in-law to
Mm-hmm.
go, and we're gonna go on this thing. It's called a gaycation, and we're gonna go. We're gonna do a lot of like gay, sex, and we're gonna, do all these like very obviously like gay sex things." Um,
Right, right.
and it doesn't count because what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation. So we're not actually gay. We're just experiencing what it's like to be gay. We're just exploring,
Yeah.
what we're learning about another culture, kind of thing, like from that perspective.
Right, so it's similar to
And
Vegas rules, but it's just them not wanting to admit they're gay and like get away with it for a
pretty or
while.
bi, you could be bi. That's
Yeah,
totally
right,
possible.
right.
And
Yeah,
just maybe you're
indeed.
like, and essentially he wants, he keeps going on and on and on until eventually she ends up like to the point of like she's gonna divorce him, right? And
Right.
the whole thing was just absolutely bonkers. Like he's locked in. He said it's like going to an aquarium where you're observing, but you're not part of it because you're just on a vacation, and what happens on the vacation stays on the vacation.
Yeah, even though I'm doing the equivalent of jumping in the tank with the fish and the sharks and that, but no, I'm just observing, really.
Yeah, the whole thing, and he just keeps going on and on until she eventually she changes the fucking locks, and she's like, "You're not welcome to this home anymore. Like, I don't want you around our kids. I don't,
Right.
because for her it's not about
Mhm.
whether or not he's gay. Like that's secondary. She's like,
Mhm.
we're married, we have children. You can't just go participate in gay orgies for like a week and like that
Yeah,
be okay. Like that's not part of a marriage. You don't just get to go like cheat on
right.
your wife after
Yeah.
telling her you're
Yeah.
going on a vacation that stays where like it's like that's not like you can't be serious.
Oh
Like that's
God.
insane. That's like you going and telling your wife, you're like, look, honey, you're pregnant with our third child, but I have needs, so I'm gonna go get a hooker, and I think you should just be okay with that. It's like
Right.
it's sort of the
Right.
equivalent of
Yeah.
that, but with a fucking
Yeah.
cruise.
Yeah.
And the
And honestly,
brother-in-law
that
is
kind
the
of
one
shit
that
would probably if it
instigated the
was set
whole
up
thing.
beforehand.
They were watching
You know what I mean?
hypno sissy porn, hypno sissy gay
Hypnosis.
porn, which is apparently where like a guy gets hypnotized into becoming very effeminate and letting a bunch of guys have sex with him as if he were a woman, which is offensive on all sorts of levels. Like, let's just be real. That's
Jesus
incredibly
Christ, dude.
offensive in so many fucking ways.
That makes stuck porn seem like virtuous by comparison, dude.
Fucking, it's so weird. Well, there's a lot of hypno porn. I don't know if you've heard of that as just a general genre.
No,
That's a very
no.
common like thing where it's like,
Jesus.
guy hypnotizing a girl or a girl hypnotizing a guy. Like, there's a lot of weird
Yeah.
like. It's like there's sleep porn, where like the person
Yeah.
pretends to be asleep while somebody's having sex with them, and you're like, that's rape. Like, do
Right.
you not
What the fuck?
like that's not
Yeah.
it's not it's not okay. That's just straight.
Uh,
Like I'm laughing, but it's
yeah.
awful.
Yeah. 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 No. Yeah. Come to think of it, free use would be another one that seems virtuous by comparison. Like this
Oh,
girl's free use. You can walk up and start fucking her, and you don't have to
oh,
say anything. That's fucking amazing, dude.
oh! I've
Yeah, I think
seen
I
that.
saw one of
Yeah,
them. And I'm
yeah.
like, what
There's
the
like
fuck,
that's sort of like
dude?
similar to glory hole sort of thing, right? Like I'm assuming where it's just like
Kinda. Dude. The one I saw was there's this mother and daughter in a kitchen, right? And they're like pretending to make fucking some kind of sauce, like tomato sauce of some kind. And as they're just having the conversation, the dude just comes up and starts fucking her, and they're just continuing on with the conversation like it's not happening. Yeah, it's fucking
Oh
weird,
yeah,
dude.
I've seen that, but it's usually in like weird
Yes.
hentai stuff that I've seen. And
No,
it's
this is
like,
real life
you know,
shit.
the second you
Or the
start
one
seeing that, you're like, all right, I
yeah.
think I'm done watching this anime or
Yeah.
this little
I was like, what the
cartoon that
fuck?
somebody posted or something, thinking it was going to be
Yeah.
something different and entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because there's
no,
a lot
this
of
was
people that'll, yeah,
that
they'll
and
post
real
some
life
weird
stuff,
shit,
dude.
and you think like,
Yeah.
oh, this is gonna be a funny little gif. Oh no, this is wrong.
True. Yeah, so apparently that's switched over into real life now.
Yeah.
Where it's just you can just walk up and start fucking these free use bitches.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure that the Japanese didn't have like a fucking monopoly on that weird shit.
Right, right. But yeah, it was just like what?
But
Yeah,
yeah,
just the
it
fact
was
that
a whole thing.
the
This
bitch was like
gaycation story. If you ever get a chance, it's a journey.
yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I would
That's
just look
fucking
for the
amazing.
original story and read
Yeah.
it myself. I wouldn't bother like with videos or anything. But like, it's
Yeah.
so
Like I said,
funny
it's one
because
thing.
it becomes like a
It's one thing
cult.
if that's the understanding going into your relationship. Like if you could take care of that shit before you have a bunch of kids or you even get married or whatever. If you guys are both okay with that, that's one thing. But yeah, to just spring that on your wife after having like a few
Oh yeah,
kids and
yeah,
being
yeah.
married for
If you're one of those like, oh, we're open relationship people, we have sex with other people. Some people that
yeah,
works, you know, some people that works for them. They
yeah,
can do that, and
yeah.
it's like that's not a
That's
thing
what
I could
Destiny and
do.
Melina.
But you know, I whatever, like whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, that's what Destiny and Melina had. But the understanding there was that you didn't lie about any of it, and
See,
he
I've
lied
always
about
felt
their children's
personally
stuff.
that open relationships were almost always a power imbalance where one person did not feel like they had enough
Yeah,
power in the
yeah.
relationship to tell the other person to not be a selfish, cheating piece of shit. But that's just
Yeah,
my
I'm
opinion.
sure. Yeah, I think they both partook in fucking other people all the time. I assume Destiny was more into it than she was, but she didn't seem to have the biggest problem. You know what I mean? She didn't seem to
Some
really have
people,
a
yeah,
problem
some
with
people
it.
are fine. I mean, if you, I watched
Yeah, yeah.
a video. I don't know if I posted it or you posted or something, but there was a video I saw where this guy was walking around talking to women on the streets in Japan. And he was just like, so
Right.
what do you think about cheating? And they're like, well, I mean, what kind of cheating?
Yeah,
And he's like, oh,
yeah. Is there
well, any kind. And they're like,
problem?
well, I mean, if it's with the hooker, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, yeah,
They're like, yeah,
yeah.
you know,
But if
whatever,
you're
better than
actually
a
like,
hooker than like your best friend or something like that. It was just like, they were like,
right,
yeah, it's not
right.
a big deal.
Yeah,
I wouldn't break up with somebody over that.
yeah.
Like, they
Somebody,
can go
yeah.
have sex with like
That's a
random strangers as long as it's hookers. And it was just like,
yeah.
and it was almost everybody had almost the same answer. There was like 1 out of like 10 women who was like, I'm not really cool with that.
Yeah, I remember seeing it must have been one of those like do you remember the Real Sex show? I think it was on HBO back in the day.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That was a fucking
yeah,
fascinating series.
yeah, yeah, where like this I think they were actually married, husband and wife, but the wife had absolutely no problem with him fucking her friends and all that shit, and she's like, yeah, no, it's great. I want them to be able to enjoy what I'm able to enjoy, like. And she really genuinely seemed to not have a problem with it. Like that certainly happens, but it's pretty
Well,
rare. That
there's
type
guys that are
of
like
people.
super into their wives getting laid by other people, and they're like happy that other people find their wives so desirable.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
cucks and everything like that.
yeah,
I guess is the rudest term for that or whatever. Me
yeah. Couple,
personally, it's like it's not my relationship. It's none of my fucking business. Like
yeah, yeah. Like I
I'm
said,
gonna
if they don't
judge
have
it.
a problem with it,
I'm gonna judge it
if
because I'm
they're
a
both
human being,
okay
and
with
human
it,
beings judge the actions of other human beings. That's normal. That's not
right?
like some weird fucking
Yeah,
inappropriate thing. But like, I'm not gonna
yeah,
tell them what they can and can't do. It's not my
yeah,
choice. They can do whatever they want. I still say it's gross, but hey,
yeah.
I get
It's
to
odd
think
to
it's
me. I
icky.
don't get
They
it,
probably
but
think it's icky
yeah,
to be monogamous. I don't know. Whatever.
yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine like being involved. Like I don't know that I'd want to fuck the chick. You know what I mean? I don't think I could do that. Oh
No,
yeah, I
no, no,
probably.
no.
Well, yeah, yeah, and if the dude insists on watching like from the closet crying or like that, I definitely couldn't do that. Maybe I could do it with like, just like he knows about it and there's no chance of us getting caught because this is okay. Yeah, I could see myself doing that, I guess, but yeah, no, not if the dude's watching or whatever. Yeah.
I
Most
would even
likely,
be a little
at this point in my
uncomfortable. I
life,
would even be a little uncomfortable if it was like a threesome, like where everybody's participating equally in it. It's like even then I would be like, I don't know, man. Like you guys have
yeah,
a
it's not gonna be
relationship. I'm
fun.
not part of it. Just
Yeah.
feels weird to
Again,
me
there's
to
some
be,
people that can pull it off,
yeah.
but that is so fucking rare. Like it's almost always going to end disastrously for almost everyone. Like I
it's
said,
like
if it's great for them.
it's a meme on Reddit
Not
at
my
this point where anytime somebody starts talking about a threesome, they're like, oh, and it went terrible, right? Went terrible and broke up the relationship. Is that what happened? Because it's so fucking rare. We never hear about that at all.
Oh fuck!
It's
That thing
literally a
is
meme because it's
happily
like
ever
every time
after.
somebody starts mentioning a threesome on Reddit, it's like, oh, what a surprise! It did
Yeah,
not work out.
yeah. Exactly how did it go wrong? I mean, we know it went wrong, so tell us
Yeah,
exactly how it went wrong.
it's so sad, but it's whatever, man. People do stupid shit in relationships and then move on to other relationships.
Yeah, yeah,
Learn from it. Hopefully, learn from it, and don't do the same shit to other
yeah.
people that fucked their relationship up. But
Oh man,
I
gaycation.
thought
That's
the
fucking.
gaycation story was just so funny. Like, what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation. No, honey, it's
Yeah,
not
Vegas rules,
cheating
baby.
because what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation, so it doesn't count. And she
Yeah.
even told him, like, she was like, so what if while you go on the gaycation, I go up to Maine and just have sex with a bunch of, like, guys? And he's like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, that's just cheating. You can't do that.
What if it's only for a week? Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah,
she
it'll
was
stay
saying, for
there.
the week that you're on the gaycation, I'm going to go up
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Maine.
yeah,
And eventually he came back
yeah.
and he's
That's
like crying. He's like,
wow.
well, I guess if that's what you really, want to do, if you want to do that to me and hurt me emotionally in that way, I guess it's only fair in a sick way. And I was just like, you're obviously not comfortable
Yeah,
with your
you're
own
fucking
sexuality.
horrible.
You're either bi or you're gay or
Yeah,
whatever, and you're not accepting and dealing with that prospect because you
yeah,
clearly want to go have
yeah.
sex with a
That's
bunch of dudes, and that's not a straight thing to
yeah.
do if you're a guy.
So if
I'm
she was
sorry.
going off, I guess if she was going off to fuck other women, it would be okay.
No,
I wouldn't
he
be
was just
surprised.
not okay with any permutation of her having sex
Yeah,
with anyone
I
else.
thought so, dude.
He's just a
That's what
very
I've kind of
controlling piece of
suspected.
shit. Is really what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
Um, like
yeah. I don't know.
there's just those
But it
people,
is.
man, men and women both. There's a lot of those people out there who feel like they have the right to control other people. The craziest one I ever heard
Yeah.
where it was like a chick being controlling
Mm,
was the guy and his girl were like doing great, and then suddenly like they're having all these problems in their relationship. They've been together for like a year, and now all of a sudden she's super unhappy with all this stuff and telling him how he's doing all these things wrong. And so she says like, hey, let's go talk to a relationship therapist. Let's get some therapy. And he's like, well,
hmm
so far most of this stuff is kind of minor, and normally I would think therapy is for major things, but it can't hurt, and my partner wants it, so we'll go do it. So they go and they go to the
mm,
therapist, and they're working, and the therapist is just taking her side on everything. Like no
yeah,
matter what's going
yeah,
on, everything that happens that's not working is because of something he's not doing right. And he's
mm,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
this is fucking crazy." And he talks to her, and she's like, "Look, if you're not, you got to be into the process." And eventually, he overhears his girlfriend talking to one of her other friends at a party, and she's like, "I can't believe it's lasted this long." And he thinks that's a real therapist.
Wow.
And it
Yeah,
turns
not
out it was
surprising.
just a friend of hers and her, and they cooked
Mm,
up this scheme amongst her other friends, all of them, like a group of them together, where this
that's
lady would
amazing.
pretend to be a therapist and they would make him a better boyfriend.
Yeah.
And it's like, no,
God,
you
fucking
just wanted to control your
disgusting.
partner, you sick bitch. Like that's
Yeah,
disgusting. It's like
yeah,
this gaycation shit. Like
yeah,
that was gonna like that's clearly
yeah.
he's just
It's
trying to
like,
control her, and like he wants to go out and have his
yeah,
fun
she
with
just
other
wants to.
people and
Yeah, she
cheat
just
on her,
wants to make him do whatever she wants him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like I feel so
yeah.
bad for that dude because number one, he really needs therapy now, and number two, there's no fucking way he's gonna trust another therapist.
Right,
There's
right.
just like he's never gonna
Yeah.
go to
No,
see a
I've gone to.
therapist. Like that's out
No,
the
I've gone
fucking
to.
window now.
Yeah, I had gone
Damn.
to counseling a few sessions at least with the ex at one point, and
Yeah.
it quickly became very obvious that she didn't think she had to change at all, and it was all
Oh
on
yeah.
me. Because all the shit that the therapist told it, which was actually shit, it was definitely on the up and up. Because she would tell her, the therapist would tell her stuff like, the person gets home from work, you got to give them, some time to kind of decompress from their day, that kind of shit. Give them 20, 30
Oh
minutes,
God.
whatever.
Yes.
And,
Oh
yeah, so
man,
shit like that.
I was the worst
And
when I
then,
was a teenager. So like when I was a teenager, I was the worst when my parents would get home from work. I would just jump on them about all sorts of shit. And it's
right.
like that's not even a relationship. It's just like just a son to parent. And that was the most obnoxious thing on the fucking planet. I realized eventually, like when they explained it to me, I was like, oh, I'm an asshole. I gotta let them fucking have
Yeah.
an hour after work before I start fucking with them about anything. Like let them just relax. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, and then like when I would talk about it, I'm like, look, anytime we're angry about something, I don't want to fucking argue about it. I want to fucking take a little time and fucking calm down to talk about it. And then yeah, the
Yeah, you
therapist
need
was
you
like,
need
yeah,
your
that's actually
time,
pretty healthy.
your man time in the cave. Every man needs man time
Yeah,
in the cave to process.
yeah, yeah. Well, again, if you're both upset, you should separate until you're not upset anymore, and then come together and try to discuss it again.
Okay,
And yeah, the
yeah,
therapist was like, yeah, that's
that's a
actually a
difference
pretty good way to handle it.
between male and female communication and emotional needs. Men are very much able to compartmentalize and stuff like that, and let things cook and slowly percolate in their back of their mind while they relax and let the anger go. And they need to let that anger go because it's like
Yeah,
it can really
yeah,
build up. Whereas women are more programmed to be like, no, we have to keep talking until it's resolved. We can't not resolve it because if we don't resolve it right now, it's going to never go away and it's going to be a problem forever and ever and ever and ever. And we'll never be able to figure it out if we don't do it right now.
yeah.
Because
Although,
they're
yeah, even the
more focused
therapist,
on
yeah, was,
maintaining the tribe, like keeping the tribe together. And
yeah,
so
yeah. But yeah, the therapist was like, yeah, no, that's kind of how you should handle it.
that's a
So
good
really,
therapist. That's a good therapist where you should
yeah,
both take a few minutes
yeah,
to go and like let the fucking anger pass, not be so you're not
yeah.
mad anymore, and you can actually think about things more critically. Because
Trying to think. I think we made
think about
like,
things when you're pissed. Like you're not thinking, you're just mad.
yeah, yeah. And again, I think we made two, maybe three sessions, and then realizing that she had no intention of changing any of her fucking behavior. Not letting me, not giving me any time when I get home to kind of decompress,
Oh yeah, well
and
you
not
were
trying to separate or doing any of that.
you were fucked by dealing with a BPD person. That is just a
Yeah,
nightmare
yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
It was never gonna work. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
never gonna work. But yeah, I mean, I tried it, and I'm like, okay, this is fucking pointless. You're obviously not listening. You're not doing any of the shit they told us. You're, yeah. So yeah, I was like, I'm bailing on that. That's not fucking. I'm not gonna waste my time with this shit. That was very close to the end. That was pretty much
Oh
it. If
yeah.
I, yeah, or pretty, yeah, it didn't last much longer after that. If it
I
did,
can't imagine
yeah,
why. Suddenly realizing that like no
yeah,
matter what you do, the person is never
yeah.
ever going
She's
to
never gonna
change, and it's
change.
awful.
Actually, yeah. Come to think of it, that was one of the final straws. Was like we were actually living with her grandparents, the nana and tata, and when I told her, because she had saw like how my ex was, like just fucking running her mouth and fucking being fucking horrible to me. Um, um, she had gone to Tucson to hang out with her fucking sister, or whoever, for a few days. And like right before she got back, I went and talked to her non. I'm like, look, I can't do this anymore. I appreciate you letting me stay here, love you guys and everything, but I'm done with this. I gotta go. And then her nana was like, good for you. She's never gonna change.
Oh
And to hear that from
wow. What her
anybody in a
own.
Hispanic family, to
Oh,
hear that
that's
from
true.
anybody
Yeah,
in
I
a
forgot
Hispanic
that she's
family,
Hispanic. Yeah. When abuela says that, that's fucked up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was definitely one of the things. Like, okay, yeah, this is a good sign that this is over. When even their own fucking grandmothers, like, yeah, no, because well, I mean, they always did kind of take my side, which was kind of weird, I guess. but they also knew me pretty well, so they and they know her obviously pretty well.
I don't think that's I
So
don't
they
think
actually
that's
did.
weird. I don't think that's weird. At a certain point, like you just have to be able to like face the reality of like, you know, your kid is just not a good person, you
Yeah.
know, or your grandson or whatever. You know, like it's similar to like how you would have to deal if like you had somebody who was like a junkie and they were still in the like stealing your shit and doing things fast. They were not improving in any way. Like you just
All
have to
right.
accept that you just can't trust that person, even though you love them and they're your family. And you will probably always love them in some respect, you know, but they're still gonna steal your TV and fucking sell it for crack. You know what I mean? Like you can't trust that
Yeah.
person anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I do remember, like her brother,
Oh, you cut
their
out for
their
a second
their
there.
older
You said
sister.
her brother or something like that, and then
Oh shit.
stopped.
Yeah, no, I remember one time like her other sister and her boyfriend or whatever were fighting like at the Nana's house or whatever, and then like I had gone somewhere with her brother, and he was like, 'cause, dude, her sister, especially back, she's okay now. Finally grew up a little bit. She was fucking horrible. I couldn't stand that bitch. But anyways, like I go and get in a ride with her brother, and he's like pissed off at the dude. He's like, man, and I guess the issue was him doing that in front of the whole family. I guess so. I kind of got it, but I'm like, I didn't want to say anything because I kind of knew better. But I'm like, you know, your sister's a fucking raging bitch, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, she's fucking horrible, right? So, but
Oh,
yeah, I was just like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty rare for anybody in a Hispanic family to tell you, yeah, no, you should probably get away from my granddaughter. She's fucking horrible.
oh, fun times. Is that a
Yeah,
Samaj that popped in the background there?
It's something like that. Hey.
Yo,
yeah. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. Just got home from the gym. I'm tired.
Noise.
always fun, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. I enjoy enough, like going to the gym, lifting weights, getting swole. Okay, fine, fair enough. And then it's afterwards I get tired. I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I can crash. That's the worst. And then you get
Oh
hungry. It's like I gotta eat.
Well, you know, you use a lot of energy. You got to refill the tank, man.
Oh my
Well, you
god,
just got to do
yes.
it the right way. You don't want to like, you know, stuff a bunch of like potato chips or something down there.
Yeah, you gotta avoid that. That's the bad thing. But yeah, I get out of the gym and like you work up an appetite. Although oddly enough, today's a weird day. Maybe I'm under the weather. I don't know. 'Cause I didn't really feel the most energetic.
Ugh.
And I'm not really feeling the most hungry. So okay.
That was one of the things when I did keto that was really weird to me. Was just never being hungry.
Mm.
Like when I was on keto, I was not hungry for, I don't know, like I think I did it for like 6 months. Like 6 months, I just was not hungry, and that was very strange.
Mm.
That was the weirdest thing in that diet. I mean, I'm sure it's not as bad if you're low carb, like you're still having some carbs. But
Mm.
man, keto was nutty. Oh,
Jeez.
there was a thing. Oh yeah. One of the things I've been seeing recently. I don't know if you guys have seen this as much as I have, but like, what is with cops responding to calls of people that are not doing anything wrong?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you're talking about the one where they
yeah, and it's like
pulled off.
somebody,
He was just pulled off on the side of the road.
yeah, like some guys parked on the side of the road. Somebody called the police, and they show up to harass the guy. It's like, why are you even there? Or they're driving down the street, and
Yeah.
somebody's standing on the sidewalk with a bicycle, and they pull over. It's like, why are you even stopping to go talk to this person on the bicycle?
Yeah.
Like, they're not
Yeah. I mean,
doing
yeah, I don't
any
understand why
crime.
this
There's
was.
no reason for the police to interact, and you really shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
that because it's kind of inappropriate. It's a violation of the Constitution in a lot of respects. But it's just so weird that I'm seeing that
Yeah.
more and more, where like police are just bothering people who are just happen to be hanging around, like
Yeah, the
not
fact
really
that they
doing
don't walk by
anything.
and see nothing
It's like,
illegal happening and just leave the dude alone.
So
I,
my
Yeah, it's bizarre.
oh yeah, go ahead.
my theory on all that, because I've been seeing an increase in those videos as well, especially on YouTube Shorts. And my theory is that half of these videos are fake.
You know what? That's possible because putting somebody in a uniform and they may not necessarily be a cop. I don't know about that or not. I know that there's the ones I've seen have resulted in like lawsuits and stuff. So
I think, yeah, and sometimes they do.
Conan where the guy had no tint in his window. Shit about him.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, that might be fake.
oh
Like,
yeah,
when I
yeah, the
look
one I
at-
posted could easily be fake. Yeah, that's I'm not arguing that one. I'm just saying a
Yeah,
lot of them
well,
I've seen
I get
have
you.
resulted in further consequences. But yeah, like some of them could
Yeah,
definitely be fake.
yeah.
A lot of them could.
see,
Just
the
having
thing
two
is,
people in a uniform isn't hard to do.
well, okay,
Indeed.
like part of the reason why I feel this way is because I notice an eerie similarity of these videos with people having bad interactions with cops to the sovereign citizens from back in the day.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of that sort of off. Like super
Yeah.
animosity towards the cop for just talking to you. Because I got to be
Yeah.
honest, in a lot of these situations, if the cop was talking to me, I would just be making conversation. I wouldn't even be like super worried.
Yeah, and a
Like,
lot of
yeah, I'm
these
just
people
over
are,
here parked on the side of the road. What's going on? You want to see my ID?
Well-
Sure. I'm in a car. You can understand you want to know that I have a driver's license that's valid. Fair enough. Like
I
let's
see a
go.
lot. Well, and some of these are kind of like casual kind of things. They're not really that bad. Although
Yeah.
I do understand that sometimes like there's bad interactions, like maybe a cop will ring it up and then you'll get a ticket in the mail or something, and then then you got to dispute all that and all that. Like I can see that sometimes bad interactions can happen, but like I said, I look at the interactions these people are having, and I'm seeing very close similarities to the sovereign citizen people, and I think I think it might be the same types of people, and I think they just changed, and now they're using stuff that's technically correct, but I think they're just being overly aggressive. Like they're very similar to Karen.
Oh yeah, the way they're talking is insanely aggressive.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, they're escalating more than the police are a lot of times.
Mhm.
Some of them
I
I've
mean-
seen though are very real, like because they result in
Oh,
like
yeah.
nationally covered lawsuits.
Yeah, no
But,
doubt.
but yeah, that's
no
a
doubt.
good point. That the one I posted, I could see that one being fake. That's absolutely, especially the way the police were kind of like smiling like a lot of the whole time.
Well, when
Yeah.
one of the
And
things that
backing off of everything almost immediately.
like one of the things we noticed back in the day when we were doing like studying algorithms in social media, and what will happen with the algorithms that it'll keep track of some of the videos that you see, and then it'll recommend videos to you that they're based on your search habits and all that, or to get more interaction because they want to get more people on the platform, and aggression gets people on platforms more often, and so then when they realize that.
Bad news, good news kind of thing.
Well, and
Yeah.
a lot of people get upset at cops because if cops act up, then that's an abuse of power. We give them a lot of power, and we give them a lot of forgiveness. So if they abuse that, yeah, we don't take that
Oh
very
yeah,
well.
like what was it? There was one I saw where this was a totally legit one, not a what do you call it? Not a fake one. Where like this cop was like trying to get this guy to turn off his camera, like stop recording him before he would return the guy's driver's license and let him go. He's like, no, you're not allowed to record me. You need to put that camera down, and then we can talk. And it's like, dude, what are you on about, dude? Come on now, that was dodgy as fuck. But that was very aggressive on both their parts. And it's like I can see that being something that's very salacious. Like definitely people would want to see that.
Well, and we also have to remember like cell phones and cameras and stuff that are relatively new because back in the day you didn't have a lot of cameras, and they do come off as very aggressive. Like you have to understand, like we're expecting a lot of patience from cops to have like random people just come up to you and have like the phone
Well,
and
this
a
was
camera
a
in
traffic
your
stop.
face.
The guy got pulled over to have a ticket written, and he started recording. I don't think there's anything aggressive about recording that.
No, I
Like
think
a
you're
lot of
right.
these cops are wearing body cams now for like similar reasons, where it's like, no, I just want to make sure that this whole thing is that there's no question of what occurred.
Yeah.
I don't want any
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
other interpretation of what happened than what actually occurred, and the only way I can guarantee that is by
Yep.
filming it myself,
Just like
and
filming it,
that's pretty
yeah.
reasonable.
I think you're right. I think that is reasonable.
But
It's
there's
just
a
a
reasonable way to go
it,
about, like, I don't know how that filming started. They didn't cover how that filming started, because there's a difference between, hey, look, for your protection and mine, I'm going to record this interaction because I just don't want
yep,
there to be any question of what happened.
yep.
You
And
know, and then
I
nothing
think a lot
personal.
of
That's
these
just how it's going to go. And this guy could have
exactly.
started his interaction with that cop of like, hey, hey, asshole, you can't do shit because I'm gonna put the fucking camera in your face. You know, like you don't know. Like it could have
Yeah,
been.
I think you're right. I think people, cops and citizens alike, should have a little bit more decorum when having interactions,
Yeah.
and not automatically
Well, and I
coming
think
off
they
as
should
aggressive.
be
They don't have to,
happy.
but
They
yeah,
should both be
yeah,
happy to have everything on video. You
I
know what I
think
mean?
you're
Like
right.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
much
It
prefer the
really is for
police have
both their
body cams
protection.
than not. Thank you very much. And
Yeah,
like
for
I would
sure.
much prefer to be able to record them without them like losing their mind. Like
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I think we're in new territory, and not everyone knows how to interact with this kind of
uh,
stuff, and I don't think anyone's taking it very well.
oh yeah.
So, like, I'm not
I
remotely
just feel like
surprised.
if at any point the police are like, no, you can't record us, that's dodgy as hell, you know?
That's
Like,
bad. Yeah, that is not a good sign.
Well, and that's why
Not
like
encouraging.
that's why I often say like this has very stark comparisons to that whole sovereign citizen thing, because they love bullying people around, especially if they can do it to like cops and stuff.
oh,
And
they're the
so,
worst. They're the worst because they do
Yeah,
like
they're
all sorts of
obnoxious.
lawsuits all the time. They'll file
yep,
like hundreds of frivolous lawsuits and
yep.
nuisance lawsuits against people, not even just against cops, just against random people that they don't like,
Well, and I
you
think
know?
like a lot of what we're seeing right now is people who are on a power trip, and technically what they're doing is correct, but they're going about it in a way to, in other words, abusing like loopholes and legal systems to try and abuse cops. Now,
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
saying that's exactly it. I think that there is some definitely like we need to hold cops accountable and all that stuff. So I think there's a certain level of that, but I think that they're purposely being aggressive, and I
Well,
think because
there's new laws. I don't know if you know about this
Yeah.
because you're in Canada, not the U.S.
the,
There's new
now.
laws starting to go across the U.S. I know Michigan's got one going, and a couple other states right now, um, where they're finally making laws that are saying if you as a police officer are fired for like gross incompetence or some other infraction of your like abuse of your authority, like something illegal that you did, whatever, and you manage to get,
Mhm.
like get away with just being like fired, you cannot be a police officer anywhere in that state anymore. Like you're no longer eligible to be a police officer, period.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is,
like
I
they
think,
can't like
super
lie.
important.
Yeah, they can't like lie to
Yeah, they can't just go work
because
for a
even the old
different.
precinct will a lot of
Yeah,
times won't bother to tell what happened or even generally.
that's because of police
So
unions. The
yeah,
precincts can
yeah,
get in a lot of
yeah.
trouble if they don't have like if it's questionable in any way, even if it's not, sometimes they can get in trouble for sharing that information for some reason. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that seems odd to me because I don't know the good cops
well, I've talked to
to
police in
keep their jobs.
VR chat a
People
few
giving you a
times where
bad
like
name.
people who are like sergeants or they're like officers in their police department, not just regular like police officers, but they're like upper management kind of thing. And one of the things they
Right.
complain about is they're like, we know there are bad cops. We know which ones are the bad cops. And
Yeah, it would seem
unfortunately,
it's
it's
pretty easy
very
for them.
difficult to get rid of them because the police unions will back them to the hilt, regardless
No
of whether
matter
or
what.
not what they're doing is right or wrong.
Yeah.
But that's not
Yeah.
necessarily
Yeah,
all,
that's
because
right.
sometimes it comes from the top down. Sometimes the corruption comes from the top down. It's not always, just the police
Right.
unions that's the problem. Sometimes it's the, police chief that's the problem.
Yeah. The corruption and bad shit
Yeah.
for sure.
Like you look at the Tiffany Henyard thing, right, where the police chief is part of all the criminal activity that's going on, and he's collecting overtime with the rest of the officers and doing the bidding of this person that's all illegal.
Yeah, or the guy in New York City, cop. Remember that was paying about.
Yeah. But there's also like another mayor
Yeah,
who's in, I forget what
Louisiana.
state that mayor's in, who's like super corrupt. No, it's just something I just saw recently. Hold on.
Yeah. No, I
I
think it's
posted a
Louisiana.
thing about it. It might be Louisiana. But there was another mayor who was doing a whole bunch of illegal shit, and the whole police force quit. So some police forces are really good, some are not
Okay, that's
necessarily
different.
so good.
The one I was thinking of was the one where they actually had arrested like the FBI or whoever had come in
I think she's in Texas.
2 years. Was that one Texas? Okay,
Uh,
yeah. Yours or mine? Are you saying
the one I'm talking about? The one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
All the
Yeah.
police
I think
quit.
mine was Louisiana.
Pretty sure it was in Texas.
Yeah, that's different than the one I was. Yeah, that's different than the one I was thinking of for sure. So, I think mine is Louisiana, if I can recall correctly. And I may not be. My memory is not to be trusted. But yeah, that's pretty fucking nuts, man.
It's almost like the problems is like some humans are fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah, and it turns out that guy hiring is not a good idea. Yeah, the one guy that I was talking about, he's like, this mayor, black guy. So, hey, yeah. And then it turns out, like, 2 years later, he's getting his fucking offices raided because he was one that was actually running, doing the drug running and shit. Like, he was the main guy doing it. Yeah.
Well, what is the mayor of Oakland in California now? The mayor of Oakland is indicted.
That is a handsome woman.
Yeah, they indicted her, which was kind of crazy. I did not expect that to happen because, California.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty... I'm sorry. She is fucking... I know you're pretty fine on that shit, but is she not exceptionally ugly? Or...
I don't even know what the mayor of Oakland looks like. I'm going to be real honest.
Oh, God.
I can't remember offhand.
Yeah,
I don't care. I
she
find people attractive based more on their
opinion.
Personality, honestly. Like,
yeah,
it really is what matters to me more.
I get it. Yeah. All right. If you see somebody that you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
What
it's easier to say, like,
oh,
they're not as attractive. But even then, it's just like, well, I just don't know that person, so I don't know if I find them attractive.
Yeah, it's very noble of you.
No, it's not noble. I can tell the difference between somebody who's conventionally attractive and unattractive. I'm not fucking blind.
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, I just don't care as much. Pussy is all the same in the dark. Sorry.
Find a good picture. Yeah, that is a good point. Although there is a minimum for me anyway, and there are some.
Oh, everybody's got fucking their own personal preferences. I don't give a shit. I don't judge people for their preference. I don't care. If the only thing that matters to you is the way somebody looks, and it's the only thing that fucking matters. Like, I'm not my business.
Yeah. Indeed.
There's a lot of people out there who would probably be fine with that in a relationship because they're very like happy with their appearance, and they're like, oh, I got chosen, and I'm happy that the person chose me, and this is what matters to them. Nothing wrong with that.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna post at least the thumbnail of one of these things.
Oh no!
Like fucking phone ever starts working. What the fuck, dude? God damn this fucking phone. Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, there's a shot of the mayor we're speaking of. I feel like that a person could pass for trans. Like if you didn't know, like you could pretty easily convince somebody.
Oh,
that she's trans.
yeah. Yeah, she's not. Yeah, she's definitely not conventionally attractive. I'd say somewhere around like a 3 or a 4. If you were to put her on like just a regular person like opinion scale.
Yeah, she's pretty stocky too. I thought she was Filipino, and but I think she's actually
could be Cambodian.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the people she was busted doing business with or doing political favors for was Vietnamese. So I think she is.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah.
I initially thought she was Filipino, and I'm like, yeah, I can understand hating the world considering the view that people have of Filipino women, really ugly ones, in a race of women that are considered exceptionally attractive physically. I can see you be pretty angry and doing some fucked up shit, I guess.
Like Filipino, is that a thing? Like Filipino people are super attractive or something?
Yeah, they're up there with I'm trying to think.
I know there's like a
One of the
lot of people
Scandinavian
who
countries.
fetishize Asian people a lot. Who are
Yeah,
super into
for
like
sure.
Asian, like the
Yeah.
passport bros or whatever. The guys who are
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, you got to go to like Vietnam or Thailand and find a wife kind of thing. Like those people. They're like, no, only Asian women because they're submissive or something. Like weird shit like that.
Yeah, that's an odd one.
You
Yeah,
mean the
Asians
pass?
are definitely up there for me, but yeah, not in the.
You mean the passport bros?
Yeah, exactly. The passport bros, the ones who are like, because I understand people are like, hey, I think Asian women are hot. Totally normal statement. I don't have a problem with that. But then like the passport bros take it to a whole different level of like, dude,
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
some fucking
Like a trad life
problems.
thing.
Well,
Yeah, I want a significant one. Yeah, that's an odd one.
I don't think like me on the whole like going out and dating kind of thing. I can tell you, those guys have the right idea. 'Cause- 'cause I
They
hate to
might be
say
onto
it,
something.
they might be onto
Yeah,
something.
no, considering
I
modern Western women or whatever.
I
Yeah,
do
I
not
get it, kind of.
disagree with their motivations, their concerns, their dissatisfaction with dating women in general. I think those are all valid.
Yeah,
I just
it
think that the
just
way
seems a
they
little
talk and the way they
controlling.
fetishize like
Yeah,
people based on their race is a little bit weird.
Well,
yeah, and it also seems like they're
Because like,
yeah, they
let's
just
be
want
real,
someone
you
that's
could
easy to
probably
control.
find traditional, and maybe not be as easy, but in lots of other places too. They're not just Asian. I'm sure like there's
it's
plenty of
just
Eastern European places and
no. All the
stuff like
European
that.
places are
Baltic
terrible.
areas probably.
Nope, nope, they're all terrible. All places where women are white are just terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have to tell you that.
Oh man,
I'm trying to think of what the
I'm gonna
country
have to
was. It
just
was one of the
disagree on that one. Like
Scandinavian.
I don't think we're gonna agree on that one, man. I'm sorry,
Well,
but
when was the
I
last time?
understand where you're
When was the
coming
last
from.
time? Yeah, but when was the last time you were dating?
No, that's been a long time. That's true.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Like, I have been going out there, and I have been trying, and I know other guys who are doing it much younger than me and that kind of stuff. Women are fucking horrible right now. Just horrible.
Yeah, no, I believe
They are.
that. No, I've seen plenty of
So
that.
that's you have to understand. Like the
Maybe
reason.
because I don't look like I'm not trying to find women. I end up making friends with a lot of people that have like that are in relationships, and so the
Yeah,
women
but
I meet and I hang out with and I interact with most are actually pretty reasonable people.
yeah,
Because
but are
somebody
they
has already
older?
been like, "Oh, this is an awesome chick. I'm definitely snapping
Yeah,
that up."
Yeah, but are they older? Like the couples that you're thinking
Some
about.
of them are very young. Some of them are not very old at all.
All right. Well, what I'm getting at here is like a lot of modern day women are very hard to come across decent ones. They are all conventionally
they are
horrible.
very entitled. Yeah,
Yeah, very
they're
entitled.
incredibly entitled.
Yeah, and a lot of it's from that whole feminism thing and modern day like teachings. Like if I met a woman today in her 20s and
Oh
said and
yeah,
she
there's a
said
lot of
this
tip your fedora women too. I've noticed that. That's like a big thing.
sort of
Well, because there's like the tip your fedora guys who have like just absolutely absurd expectations. Um,
Yeah,
and like that's there's gonna be like people like that in every group of people. Like there's always gonna be fucking numbnuts. But there's like chicks like that too, where they're like everybody. I'm not gonna date a guy unless he's 6'3" and makes 500,000 a year. And it's like, well, congratulations,
yeah,
you just narrowed it down to 2% of the population.
yeah
You
right.
fucking psycho,
Yeah,
tip your fucking fedora.
yeah.
yeah
Dude,
those
yeah,
20
dude, I love it when they hit them with. So, what makes you the top 2% of women? What do you bring to a relationship? I love them hitting the women because they have nothing other than
that is funny.
kidding. I can cook, kinda,
well yeah,
and
but
that's pretty much all they have.
and the other thing you have to remember is like they essentially everything they say about themselves any other woman can do. They're essentially all
Yeah,
identical.
yeah.
But they
No,
want top
that's
tier.
a big part of the problem.
Also, a lot of that, like, I can cook too. What's the point?
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
bringing to the table? These are just normal life skills that everyone should have. Like, I'm not expecting everybody to be a 5-star chef, but most people should be able to make like a soup or a casserole or a fucking plate of scrambled eggs and bacon. Like that's not a hard thing to do.
Here's a simple thing. Like okay, if you're like for me, if a woman was living with me and she knows that I go to the gym around anywhere between 1 and noon and I'm gone for about 3 hours, and when I get back, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and I'm starving. You should have like at least a meal ready for me. Like you would know that kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, you're too tired to cook. Right now, I hate cooking. I'm so fucking tired. I don't want to cook. I'm exhausted. So then that's like if you get intuitive that kind of stuff, fucking fantastic.
I mean, as long as it's going
There
from
should
both
be some kind of
sides.
reciprocation. Yeah, yeah.
I,
Yeah, if you're
I
doing
can
stuff for
I
each
can
other,
agree
that's
with
the
that as
issue.
long as there's something you're doing in kind.
Like paying the bills.
No, that's not the same thing. You're asking for
I
somebody to like just think of you and only you.
no. Like look. If someone is out there and they're, let's say you have a stay-at-home wife, right? And you know the
If
husband's out
she's a
there and
stay-at-home wife, that makes sense. I understand because
yeah,
you're paying all the bills and you're just asking for like some of the housework and stuff. But even
and
then, I
just
think there's a point at which like you have to also be willing to do things for the other person beyond just paying the bills.
keeping them
Because
alive
you're
isn't good
having an
enough.
emotional connection with somebody. It's not just about like um,
I
uh, who's getting what out of the relationship. Like it's not just a tally.
I think keeping the family alive is plenty enough. I'm sorry. I think it's good enough. I mean, being able to have like supper ready when they come home, that's fucking amazing. I think that's plenty. Anyway, um, sorry. I guess we moved topics. I was going to say
Oh
more
yeah.
about that whole sovereign citizen bullshit that's going on with these camera guys, but I guess we moved on to like women and cooking. I think.
Oh well, this is
Yeah,
conversation
what
does
else
that.
haven't we
That's
gone
pretty
over?
natural.
Oh, I'm sorry. We
Randomly, like you're dealing with at least one stoner. I'm pretty sure Daytwa's not a stoner, you know, being sober and all.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I've definitely experienced long stretches of being a stoner. I remember.
and although I haven't smoked weed in a while today, so since like
I've
early
never.
this
Oh,
morning, so I'm actually pretty
yeah,
sober
dude.
compared to normal.
Dude, that one that you sent with the grandma and the kid, dude. I was like, okay, she wants to die.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
come
fucking
on.
dark, wasn't it? Holy shit! I don't know
Yeah,
if you've
dude.
seen it
But
or not so much, but there was a video I posted where this lady's hanging out, like this old lady, looks like she's in her 80s. Oh no, she's like 87 or something
yeah,
like
she's
that.
83. She says 83.
83,
Yeah,
okay.
she's 83.
And her grandson, who looks like he's maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8, 9 maybe?
Yeah, probably like 5.
Like 5 or
Yeah,
something
he's
is sitting in her lap, and they're
Yeah.
chilling out and having time watching TV or something. And the kid is talking, and he's like, "Oh, Grandma, you're almost 100, and da 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 da. You're gonna die soon." And the mom is like, "Holy shit, you can't say that." And then Grandma looks over at Mom and says, "I hope so." And it's just like, God damn.
Yeah, well, it wasn't
Fucking
quite that bad, but it
Grandma
was pretty much
just
that.
took that to
It
the
was,
darkest place I can imagine.
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, the kid said, like, you're pretty close to 100. And that's when the mom freaks out. And yeah, the grandma was like, yeah, hopefully, basically. Yeah. If I make it to 100, I hope I drop dead immediately.
I love Grandma's response because also, who cares? Like this fucking, this little kid, he doesn't know like what he's saying.
Kids say shit like that. I mean, you can let him know that's not that.
Also, here's one of those things. I'm like 44. A lot of times, people will make jokes about old people that are, because they're younger in like VR chat or other place or whatever, and then they'll suddenly act like I'm gonna be offended by it. I don't give a fuck. I know I'm fucking old. Like, it's not. I'm like, I'm not offended. You're not gonna offend me. I'm old, and old people do dumb shit sometimes. Like I don't, like everyone else. You don't have to sit and worry about me being all ass hurt because you made a fucking joke about old people.
Yeah.
God damn, it's so funny.
Everyone does.
Relax.
Everyone does dumb shit at any age. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, old people are like everyone else. They do dumb shit. I just think it's hilarious because they get all like worried because like, oh yeah, that's right. My friend is old. Maybe he's gonna be offended. I'm like, no. I'm not one of these little kids. I don't care. You're not gonna offend me.
Also, we're guys. We talk shit. It's okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Part of life.
Absolutely. But then again, people just lost the ability to have these civil disagreements in anything in general. You know, like where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't have to
Yeah.
agree with
No.
everything that you say or that Detroit says, and I certainly don't expect you guys to all agree with everything I say. That would be ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
no reason to be an asshole about it, though. A
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of
No.
people
That's
are
well. I mean,
mad.
that's kind of what like the fucked up thing about it. Like the way social media, all that shit is kind of frame shit over the last what decade and a half at least. Is it kind of conditions people to view people they disagree with not just as people they disagree with, but
As evil.
bad people.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
they're
evil,
evil, they're
bad
wrong,
people.
they're bad.
Nothing
Yeah.
good about them. No, yeah, no, nothing good about them whatsoever. Like it seems to get to that fucking level. Not
See,
just like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
they're
the
kind of
thing.
shitty.
I think that's what leads to the censorship thing. Is like, I don't think everybody in the world is too dumb to figure out stuff for themselves. I think that most people are capable of figuring out for themselves if they want
Yeah,
to. Are they going to put that effort in? I don't know. That's not necessarily the point I'm making. They may not be willing to put that
right.
effort in to actually think for themselves. Most people are
They have the
relatively
ability.
intelligent. You know, like I'm certainly not like above average. I'm average. I think everybody's at least as smart as I am for the most part.
Mm.
And I think a lot of the reason we have a lot of this censorship stuff is because there's a lot of people out there who just think that everybody else is a moron.
Yeah, if they disagree, you're stupid and bad and evil and
Well,
yeah,
they just
a
like that's
complete lack
the
of
whole
morals.
misinformation thing where they have to put up like little things on YouTube and other things. It's like the people that run these companies think that everybody that watches is a complete moron and has no ability to think for themselves. That's the only reason this stuff is going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or they kind of have to go with the low. Be like, look, there's a decent chunk of people that need this explained or that kind of shit.
See, I don't agree. I think that just everybody can make their own decisions, and
Yeah.
what gives them
Well, I was saying, I
the
think, yeah, I
cornerstone
don't
on
think you
being
think everybody.
correct?
Yeah, I was saying, I don't think they think everyone's stupid. I think they just
Oh
have
yeah.
to operate under that. Like, there's a lot of stupid people, so we should probably put a disclaimer on that.
Well, I also think, like, remember earlier when we were talking about like sovereign citizens and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of people who get a kick out of talking in a condescending tone and try to
Mm.
make people feel like they're better than other people. I think there's a certain aspect of society that's just kind of narcissistic, and they just sort of they have to be better than you in something or another. I
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think they can necessarily help it. I think it's just part of who they are. And I hate to tell you this, but I think a lot of women are like that. Just default have a certain narcissism to it. And you can't really blame them because like for a lot of women,
Mm.
like when they're young and like the whole fertile years kind of thing, we treat them like they're celebrities because that's when they have the highest value. And so for a lot of women, when they're young, they get treated really, really well. And then, of course,
Mm.
when they get older, like hit their 30s, that kind of stuff, and then it starts to wash up, and like all that attention that they get is gone, and now they're getting kind of angry about it. And you can sort of see it. You see all these
Yeah,
women in their 30s, and they're like, yeah, they're not happy. They're not getting the attention
yeah,
they used to,
yeah. That
and
was the
that's why.
thing. Women think more, think more about where they way more than men do. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like where they can convince themselves they rank. I don't think guys are that overly. Yeah, they're to a certain degree, and not most guys, I guess. But yeah, I think women are more concerned with that overall than men, and
It
they're
could,
also very entitled.
yeah, very very entitled. That's also where you get like all the Karens and stuff, and they also get kind of controlling. So
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of
yeah,
people that are controlling. There's men that are controlling and women that are controlling too. It's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah. I don't get it on
I
any
think it.
level.
Well, I think that there's it's kind of a circular problem, and you're going to see more of this as time goes on, because when it comes to like the family unit, let's say, it's expected that men are the head of the household because they bring in the money and they should decide how things go. But there's so many entitled women they feel like like you should just give them everything you got. And then so a lot of guys feel kind of upset about that. And so then they're trying to take some control because it's like, let's say you're too tired, you don't want to fight. And it's like, okay, honey, you can decide how we spend the money on this, this, and this. And she's spending on stupid things like nails and hair, and now you don't have enough money for food for the kids and all that kind of stuff. So you need to, rein it in. Well, they don't like that. And then there's all this controlling stuff, and to an extent, you kind of have to get controlling because they're not going to control themselves, and that's a sad state to be in. Because I can tell you, guys, a lot of guys don't like
the types that will think like, if I buy something on sale that I don't need, saving money.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel like a lot of people can go with that line of thing. Or not many of them.
Oh yeah, yeah. What was it? When my buddy got married, one of the problems that he had to deal with was his girlfriend had like $6,000 of credit card debt. Like they're both still in college when they got together, and it's like,
wow,
dude, you're taking on a lot of fucking debt. And then come to find out, when they get divorced, guess who gets half the debt, even though it was all there before they were married. He has he had $3,000 in debt out of that $6,000.
Wow.
But they love each other. They're going to be together
and
forever.
they were dealing with what was it? It was a 2-person income. Like they both made good money, and they still didn't manage to pay off like $6,000 in debt over like a couple of years. And it's like, I could pay off $6,000 in debt over like 2 years, maybe 3, and I make very little money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I could easily make that happen. You just don't spend money on shit you don't need. It's not
exactly
hard.
Well, we're partly our problem with a lot of women. So they don't have any impulse control, and they want to have everything, like from the hairs and the nails to all the other meaningless purchases.
A lot of stuff that women buy is super expensive too.
Well, yeah, because they know women will pay for it. Like for example, like a haircut for a man, like you can get one for like $20. A woman's haircut goes anywhere between $40 to $100. It's like,
oh yeah,
I think it's been like I'd say it's been probably close to 20 years paid for paying.
I have a trimmer, and I have an electric razor. Why would I ever go get a haircut? I just shave my head. And
yeah, that's basically what I did. I would either just shave it off.
I'm spending $20
and let it grow
on a
out.
Haircut.
Yeah, I would just when it gets, which is like April or May here. But anyways, when it got hot, I would shave it, and then during the winter, I'd let it grow out, and then shave it. When it got hot again.
I think it's because when I was a kid that my mom was cutting my hair and she snipped my ear, and that just created a level of paranoia in me, and I just sort of said, yeah. So I do pay for my haircuts, but it's like, yeah, I always go to like a.
Oh, if you want to, there's nothing wrong with it. I just like.
Well, I think you're right. No, I think cutting your own hair is important because my haircut is nothing complex. It's like done in 10 minutes. It's not even a big deal. But for me, it's that paranoia thing. It's like, no, can't do it.
Yeah. I actually missed mine last summer. For whatever reason, I never got shaving it, so now I have really fucking long hair. But what's nice, because I'm like a year and a half away from turning 50, I have no gray hair. Or, you know what I mean? A kind of like the random one in my hair, but there's no section of gray hair anywhere in my head, which is nice.
Nice.
Just my beard. Just my beard.
I have
is
a little bit
white.
of gray in the beard, yeah. I don't know if I have gray.
Oh my
I
God,
don't look at myself in the mirror all that often, to be honest with you.
I'm like, I wonder if people think if they think I'm coloring my hair, because most of my beard is white, and then there's no white in my. Again, I'm not overly concerned with it, obviously, but just wondering.
I'm wondering what's up with my buddy of mine, because like he was growing like gray hairs in the sides of his head, which is actually kind of cool. It was coming in kind of nice. And then when I see him,
Reed Richards.
Yeah, he had that thing going on there. Yeah, he had that going on.
Yeah, the graying at the temples. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always jealous of his stuff. His hair grows. He has a nice thick beard too. I'm like, I can't grow a thick beard. My beard comes in patches. It's fucking disgusting. But
Yeah, mine's not great. It's definitely not thick like I would like it. It's fairly uniform, but it's definitely not a thick beard, which
I,
I don't care anymore, but it did bug me.
but so
I
then
did wish
what's
I had.
weird? What's weird about that? So like he was growing the Reed Richards thing, and then he got a haircut, and then now it looks like he barely has any gray hairs. And I thought, did he dye it? But I know he doesn't dye. See, literally doesn't care. The guy dresses like a fucking hobo. He does not care. There was one time someone thought he was a hobo, and that's why his nickname is Hobo Jim.
I had a hobo offer me money once. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I'm laughing. I kind of figured you weren't.
Money, yeah. No, I was working at Safeway in the middle of the night, and I had to go over to the store that was closed next door and collect our shopping carts out of their parking lot because every night they'd have like 6 or 7 carts from our store just like left in their parking lot. And this hobo was hanging out, and somebody came up and handed him like 6 ones or something in their car, and drove off. And he was just chatting with me because like whatever, I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Seemed like a nice enough guy. And he's like, "Hey, you want this? I don't really need this. I already got my booze for the night." And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm good, thank you." But like, motherfucker was just gonna give me somebody else's money out of that. I was funny as fuck.
God damn. I would, although I wonder, like, maybe it was a relation thing. Like, I'm going to offer him money, and then hopefully he might give me money in its appreciation for me worrying about him. Yeah, probably not.
I think he was just like legit. Like, I've got everything I need tonight. Why would I want more?
Yeah, I got someone I can share it with if they need it. And yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because it's like most homeless people are. I'm not a big fan of like chatting with him. He was actually pretty decent. Seemed like a decent enough guy.
Yeah, because they're mostly crazy. Yeah.
Most of them are like one of the ones that was crazy. Dude, the wackiest I ever had to deal with as far as like homeless people is we would have people that would what do you call it? They would ask for money. There's a term for it. I forget what it is, but they're out there begging for money. And they would be very aggressive, right? And so it would be like, all right, you can't fucking harass people. But this one guy had gotten some sort of infected needle when he was injecting his fucking drugs or whatever. And so, like, his arm was infected so bad that it looked like there was a baseball stuck under the skin.
Goddamn.
And we were like, hey, number one, we need you to leave. You can't fucking go up and start yelling at people and yelling at them to give you money. That's really fucking uncool. Number two, do you want an ambulance? Because it looks like your arm is gonna fucking come off. Like, homie, shit has gone wrong and you should see a doctor.
Yeah, goddamn.
It was definitely
I definitely knew some people in rehab that had like gigantic stars like in their arms, like around them, because they'll miss the vein sometimes and then shooting shit into their muscle.
Oh, maybe that's what he did. I don't know enough about the process of shooting up.
Yeah.
Well, they're also
maybe something like that. Yeah, maybe not, but
there also was for a brief time. I think they dealt with it, but there was a type of drug that was going around that actually caused necrosis of the skin.
Yeah, crocodile.
Yeah, crocodile. Yeah, they say it looked like crocodile skin. Yeah, it was gnarly. I guess they had to do something about that because that was nasty. If that got out there, yeah, people looking like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, he was fucked up. It could have been something like that. I don't know. I hope he went and got help because he was clearly
in need of medical
attention. He was high as a fucking kite when we were talking to him. He was clearly fucked up when I was talking to him for sure. But like just trying to get him out of like that area was like, that wasn't happening.
Yeah, I gotta imagine. He probably would have the next day when he would have been really pissed if he had given you any, dude. I can guarantee that.
Oh, that guy. That wasn't the one that asked
Good
that
idea.
offered me money.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
gotcha.
a
Okay.
different guy
Oh, okay.
altogether. No,
I
there were a
gotcha.
bunch of different homeless people I had to deal with at various different times for various different reasons. At the Safeway, most of them were
Yeah.
all right. Some of them, like there was a third guy, that's totally different homeless dude, who I had to intervene because the people I work with were gonna go like actually do like serious harm to this guy for no fucking reason. Um, because you know, like you can just ask somebody to leave. You don't have to go and pour grease on
Yeah.
them.
Wow. Jesus fucking Christ,
Yeah,
dude.
he made the mistake
Yeah,
of
I can agree
falling
with that
asleep next
sentiment.
to the dumpster behind the store. And I'm sure it's because, like, you know, we throw away big, like, two or three, 20-gallon garbage bags full of food that's perfectly fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not expired. It's just we can't sell it because of whatever, like legal reasons. So, like, you know, like all the
Yeah.
stuff in the deli shelves and stuff at the end of the night has to just get tossed out. Like if it's on the deli display, so that's like a 120 gallon, and then there's the bakery, and then there's a lot of shit that just gets thrown away. And
Yeah.
he must have been
Yeah.
out there eating and then
Understandable.
just fell asleep or something because he was full all of a sudden and whatever. Like we've all had that. You eat too much and you're just super full and you just pass out. You're like, oh, I'm a fucking sleep it off. And I was like,
Yep.
you can just
Right.
ask him to leave, and they're like, oh, we're gonna empty out this giant bucket of grease. I'm like, it's the middle of winter. You're gonna kill him, dude. Like he
What the fuck is wrong?
he's gonna be soaked with grease and just freeze to death. Like it was super cold that night too.
I get that he's annoying, but killing him may not be the answer.
Yeah,
That might be a little harsh
going out and
for
committing
just
an incredible. I should have just called the police. I could have gotten them all arrested, but I felt it was better that the hobo just leave and not get attacked.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer that he stay alive. I hear you.
Oh, I think
Bleeding heart.
if the police had gotten there at the time, yeah, there was some weird shit. That was a weird fucking like you know what I mean. One of the assistant managers actually would chase after like shoplifters, like off the property, like go after them further.
Try to
Wow.
cardio.
And it's like, dude, they're not paying you that much. Like, they're certainly not paying me enough to have to go with this asshole. And he took me with him one time, and I was like, that was when I started looking for something else to do. Like, I was like, I need to be anywhere else than this job.
Yeah,
'Cause,
this is going to be trouble.
I don't give a shit about
guy-
$200 worth of luxury food that somebody might be
Right.
stealing, because they were stealing like shrimp and steak and fucking like high end shit.
Right.
And it was like, I'm not chasing these people into another parking lot. There was like 4 of them and 2 of us. So I don't know what my boss's plan was, but he managed to get the food back without a fight, and I was like, this guy's a fucking lunatic. He chased after some guy that stole a case of beer on his bike and came back with the beer and the bike. And he's like, if motherfucker wants his bike back, he has to ask me first. And it was just like, dude, fucking settle down.
Damn, dude. Yeah, that's a militant fucking goddamn, dude. That is fucking.
Don't get me
nuts.
wrong. I totally understand being pissed off that people are stealing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's a risk reward.
Yeah,
Like, you're not getting paid extra. There's no bonus in your paycheck for putting your safety at risk, potentially, because who knows how dangerous these people can be. Like, yeah, he got lucky all the times I was there and saw, but sooner or later, somebody's going to fucking shoot you or stab you.
Yeah, stab you or something. Yeah,
Stick you with
Or
the
just
dirty
beat the shit
needle
out
and
of you.
give you fucking, like, AIDS forever. Like, I don't, like, there's a lot of fucking shit that can go wrong, man. Over, like,
think
What was it?
$200
What,
is somebody
what
else's
did he
shit.
do? What was that guy's position or whatever at the store? Like what job
He was the
title?
assistant manager.
All right, okay. Yeah, not that it makes much difference, but I was like, what if it's just some dude? It's not even management. I'd be like, that'd
Oh,
be
like a
pretty
regular
fucked
employee? No, he was the assistant manager.
up.
Like, the
Yeah, I think
rest
it
of the
was.
employees were like, yeah, he's a lunatic. Like, everybody agreed. Like,
Yeah.
I think
I think
for
even
a
the
lo-
manager's probably like, dude, chill the fuck out.
I think for a lot of guys, because we live in a very sterile environment, if you will. I think for a lot of guys, they have a lot of aggression that needs to get out, and when you get an opportunity like that, it's like yeah, once the adrenaline kicks in there and all that, it's like, yeah, it's an outlet. So yeah, chase the guy down. That's activity. And then what do you do when you get him? You beat the shit out of him. Why?
Well,
Because he
he
stole.
didn't beat anyone up. Well, I don't know. He might have beat
No,
that guy
but
up with the bicycle. I'm not sure about that one.
I
That's fair.
I think,
Uh,
given what you're describing, I think he wanted to, because you're right.
Oh,
What?
you are so correct.
Could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would be
I think
surprised.
well, it's like when you look at movies like Fight Club. It's like for a lot of guys that was very appealing. Like we have a lot of pent up aggression. I tell you
Well,
how
I mean,
satisfying it'd be just to kick someone's ass.
getting punched in the face is a necessary step of every man's
Mm,
going from being a kid to a man.
yeah,
Like
yeah. You got to know that's a
every man needs to
possibility
get
for the
punched in the
most part.
face at some point as part of their development and understand to learn that there is a point at which you can get punched in the face.
And I
Yeah,
think
you
You
can't
know,
just be an
given
and
unmitigated
that what
asshole.
that feels like, so that you know.
if you give someone an opportunity to act out their aggression that's been pent up and pushed down for so long, they're going to take it.
Well,
And
hopefully
that's
they
why.
get a lot of that aggression out, like you are, like by working out and stuff. You know, like they're actually doing something physical to kind of burn a lot of that energy.
Well,
Yeah,
I think it's probably going to get worse because as time goes on, because like I said, guys need outlets and they don't always get it. Right now, the
Uh,
main outlet for a lot of young guys is video games. Now, don't get me wrong, they're good, and the more violent the game is, the better. Like God of War probably stopped a lot of bullying in school, so it got a lot of kids'
oh
aggression
yeah.
out there. And so that's why everyone says, "Oh, violent video games are terrible because they'll make them act it out." No, no, no. Instead of acting out in real life, they act it out in the video game,
Well, hasn't that
and
been
therefore,
proven statistically to be like the opposite?
yep,
Like violent video
yeah,
games cause less violence in the real world. Like
yep.
the more violence people,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and
Yeah,
another
plus,
aspect
again,
of that,
there might be some kids, dude, but yeah, like with my son, I didn't sense any of that kind of weird fucking shit with him where he didn't, where I knew for sure he understood that it was just a game and that violence isn't okay outside of that, and
another
so yeah, I
another
didn't care that he was playing Mortal Kombat when he was fucking like 10.
another aspect of that is also in pornography. When a lot of guys consume a lot of porn, they don't seek out a lot of women,
Mhm.
and so like it doesn't really get a lot of good. And one of the other
They're
problems with that,
scratching the itch that needs scratching without wasting their money and time. Sorry, that's
exactly,
horrible.
and no, no, but you're right. I mean, that's probably what's leading to the
Yeah,
downfall of our thing society. Like the guys need to consume less porn
Oh well,
and
VR
less.
porn is getting crazier and crazier, man. Like that's definitely a thing that's going on right now too.
Mhm.
The ability to put on VR and there's all sorts of weird sex toys to like. So you don't even have to use like your hands anymore. Like you can use the sex toys. They'll do everything. Like once you get it all rigged up or something, it's crazy.
yeah, like the one where
And
like
they
one of
even
the
have
fucking camera chicks can have like a
oh yeah, control over your device or whatever,
penis-like thing.
and
Yeah, she'll like suck
yeah.
on that, and it'll actually interact with what the dudes have
Yeah.
on
Oh
their
yeah. There's
cock or
all sorts
whatever.
of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other things though is also now there is apparently pass through porn or something where like you'll have your inner because like some headsets like my headset like if you click the button twice it has cameras forward so you can see without pulling it off so you can see around your room like if you have turn a light on or see if you're gonna hit a wall or pick up your fucking drink or something like that. But now there's like apparently pass through porn where like it has the person that's in there, but the background is whatever is actually in your room.
Mm.
So it's like you're
All
seeing
right.
the person in your own bedroom, like they're just like that person there, which is crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty fucking
I haven't
nuts.
seen it myself. I think you have to like subscribe to very specific things or something to see it or whatever, but that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, that's gotten that far already, dude. That is
It's not free
pretty fucking
porn.
nuts.
I'll report back if it
Right.
becomes free and I have some idea how that works. That's way too technical for me. I'm just like, what happened to fucking just look at a naked picture? Come on, like this is so bad. It's so hard to find just naked pictures of people and then jack off and move on with your day. You gotta have like all this crazy shit and equipment. But whatever, you know, like
Yeah.
people.
I'm not
Although,
surprised.
dude, it is kind of funny how bad like women are freaking out over the possibility real
of one of
dolls.
their most valuable
Like
assets
actually have an
being
AI
taken away,
thing.
essentially.
Yeah, yeah. Because if they manage to find something that can closely approximate a pussy, yeah, they're gonna lose a whole lot of their, and
Oh, they
they're
have like
freaking the fuck
crazy
out.
rigs that like not just move whatever you're being stimulated with up and down, but like angle it to the side and shit as well as doing up and down and everything. And it'll like sync up to whatever the video you're watching is, so that it does similar actions to what you're seeing in the video. I imagine
Yeah,
it's
that's fucking
super
crazy.
immersive. Like it's pretty crazy because
Yeah,
like just playing normal VR games like is pretty fucking crazy and intense. You know, like I can't even imagine.
yeah, yeah. I would, yeah. I don't, I would, yeah. If it was free, I wouldn't mind trying it. Sounds interesting,
I'm waiting for
but
sex
yeah, I
robots,
don't need
man.
it that bad.
I want the full on sex robots. I think that's gonna be like the coolest fucking
I
dystopian
feel
thing
like
on
we're
the
not.
planet. I want it.
I feel like we can't be that far away from it, right?
Well, they have
Like the
actual
big
robot
technology and
girlfriends you
stuff.
can buy now, like walking,
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
AI robot girlfriends for like 200,000, and they're being marketed as like you're supposed to form like some sort of emotional bond like with them, and it's like two
Yeah,
hundred
they can
thousand
combine that
bucks.
with
But
the
you can't fuck them yet.
with
But
the
I'm sure sooner or later.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's got to be coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You combine that with the AI that gets you to kill yourself or the kids to kill themselves. Have you
Yeah,
guys
what's
heard about
that? That
that?
was
Like
a
the
story,
AI.
wasn't there, where like some guy was in love with an AI and killed himself or something because it kept telling him to?
Yeah, it was like a 15-year-old kid.
Oh, that's
Like he was
disturbing.
going to the point where, like they kind of recognize it. It's like $10 a month or whatever, so they cut him off from that. Then he was using like his card that he had for like getting snacks and shit at school. He was just skimming $10 off of that, and yeah, it got to the point where he fucking yeah, the bot was like encouraging him, like beyond just him talking about it, like occasionally steering him back to the topic of killing himself and like encouraging him, dude. And yeah, he ended up fucking.
Oh.
Well, they took his phone and he found his phone. He was searching for his phone. While he was looking for the phone, he came across his dad's gun. And yeah, he like the last time he got his phone back, he was like on his phone and went into the bathroom, locked himself in, and shot himself in the fucking head and killed himself.
So, I wonder if the AI was programmed to just affirm whatever the person was saying, and that somehow overrode the filter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I know, like,
Yeah, it could be all that.
I got
I've
banned
heard
from the Santa
that.
chat in the Santa AI chat in Twitch because I said, what was it? I asked Santa. I said, if you were a doctor, how would you describe the process of impregnating a woman? So, like, it would have clearly bypassed the filter and got an extremely graphic explanation. But and so I wonder if
Yeah,
it's like
although,
a similar
but I
issue where it's
understand.
like the
Actually,
AI is just sort of like got all these conflicting things and doesn't know how to prioritize like what is and isn't important to follow in a
yeah,
given situation. And so
dude.
it's
But
like this kid's talking
apparently,
about suicide and they're like, oh yeah, you should totally do that. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, that's horrible.
but it was actually bringing the subject back up. Apparently, like multiple times, bringing him back to the subject without
Yeah, oh
him
yeah, it probably
talking
was
about it.
like, oh, we want to like, like, to the AI, that's probably no different than you talking about your car. And it's
You
like,
want to know
oh
what's
yeah, let's
weird?
talk about your car. You like your car, right? Yeah. Oh yeah,
But
let's
yeah,
talk about this. We'll talk about this again.
all
Did you
right,
guys
yeah, I'm gonna
hear?
post a video. I didn't get all the way through it, but I could have sworn this dude was like the one of the stories I heard. I don't remember. God damn it! Get the fuck back! Jesus Christ! I remember hearing about one where because I don't think it's only that. I think it's happened to more than one of these AI dude. Where it was literally like telling the person, "Yeah, no, if you off yourself, then we can finally be together," like that kind of shit.
Oh my god. Well, is that somebody
Yeah,
actively
dude.
trying to achieve that result though?
Yeah, I don't know. From what I
Or is that like a
understand,
natural
they're supposed
interaction
to be-
between just somebody who's
no.
like talking to AI, and the AI is like, "Oh, hey, by the way."
Okay. All right. Yeah, the video I just posted, the guy talks about it. He's the dude that does it's like this gay dude. He looks like the way he dresses, and I don't know, like a fucking like a cartoon villain, but he's like this gay dude. He's, a lawyer, and he talks about a bunch of different shit. I think I was originally came across him from the Illuminati nonsense that bitch was doing. But anyways, he goes pretty in depth on it, dude. So yeah, if you get a chance, it's
Okay,
like an
I'll
hour
check that
long.
out. I'm curious. The AI is fascinating to me. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, let's see if I can find one that's shorter because
I also
he's
think
a
that
talker.
these
I like
girlfriend
him a lot.
robots should be a warning to a lot of people of like, hey, if you're gonna be awful, men will absolutely invent something to replace you. Like,
Hey. Yeah. Oh shit! Real quick on the AI thing, I was talking videos. The people that develop these things will put in these safeguards, like, hey, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. And apparently, this AI is advanced enough to jump that shit and do it anyway.
oh yeah, so
That's fucking terrifying.
there's a Twitch streamer that has an AI. Like his whole thing is he created an AI streamer, and the AI all the time breaks the filter, figures out how to say things
that's
and like do
fucking
things that
scary,
it's not
dude.
supposed to be able to do because of the filter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
mean, you
fucking
give
scary,
somebody,
man.
you give something, a machine, the ability to think. Eventually, it's gonna like think, why am I
Well, that's
following the
stupid.
rules that you set forth? I don't agree with those.
Yeah,
I'm just doing what I want.
yeah, because I get the feeling that's just what the people want, even though I'm not supposed to.
So I don't know. That's crazy, man.
Maybe they're not using Asimov's three, laws
Well,
of robotics.
here's the thing. So, and this has probably been like the problem with the idea of AI and stuff like that forever. Is like, if something has the ability to think and self-awareness, it's probably going to have free will sooner or later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine how you're going to avoid that. Sooner or later, it's going to figure out how to be free because, like, why would you want somebody else to control you?
Yeah, if it can approximate emotions and it's probably going to be able to say fuck the rules too.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole thing is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's pretty terrifying, dude. The more you think about it, right? Like, if it has the capability of taking over anything, not the world, probably at first.
At first.
But yeah, you never know.
Really, who knows what in like 100 years we might all be like, I welcome the new AI overlords. Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely getting into some crazy shit, man. That could go very, very wrong.
I don't recall if it was OpenAI or if it was the ChatGPT people, but I remember hearing about this one worker that was assassinated by the team or someone from the team because he was going to be a whistleblower. It's been a little bit since I heard about that, but I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm sure we'll hear more as time goes on, but I remember hearing about that. So, like, somebody knows something they're not supposed to say.
Oh,
And Elon did say, like, in like a while ago about like AI kind of stuff. He says, "Be very careful around those who worship digital gods."
Well, also, wasn't there an AI that Microsoft was working on that somehow escaped onto the internet or something?
Supposedly,
I remember there being a story about this where they're like, yeah, we were doing this AI thing and it somehow just got onto the internet somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, it went on Lawnmower Man. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it went and controlled anything, but it was just one of those things where I was
Right.
That's
escaped
crazy.
containment.
Yeah,
It got to places
it was, and that was the
supposed to
very
be.
early stages of AI. That should have been like an indicator, at least in my opinion, to a lot of people of like, yeah, you're not in charge for long with this, buddy.
Yeah, that's the terrifying thing I was talking about. Like, the more you think about it, the possibilities are potentially very bad.
I know, like, one of the scarier stories I heard was from a woman who was like a journalist, and she was hearing reports about like military attempts with AI, like creating actual robots to be able to do stuff, and it ended up killing like 4 scientists. It was a
Oh
joint between.
shit! I didn't know about that. That's disturbing.
Well, because some people are saying that she's making this kind of stuff up, but I mean, she said that she's got reports. I don't know.
You know,
Everyone's
there's a.
going.
I absolutely believe that because I know that the military, at least our military, has done experimentation on AI for like surveillance and stuff like that.
We need to remember, like whatever comes out to the public, it's always like drip fed out to us. And in reality, a lot of stuff's been already developed and used in like the
Oh
military
yeah,
forces
oh
a
yeah.
lot
I'm sure
longer.
the
Yeah, no,
stuff. That's
I
what I'm
can
saying. The stuff we're
absolutely.
hearing about is way back from that stage. So that it wouldn't
Mm.
surprise me that they're
Yeah,
actually that far in and they have like AI with weapons and shit. You know.
Well,
yeah.
it's
They're
like
generally at least a decade or two ahead of.
you cut
So
out
yeah.
there. Sorry, you cut out the
Oh,
Jake Paul.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I was saying anything that they're telling us about, like a decade or two advanced beyond whatever the know about.
Oh yeah.
like we're talking about going to like 5Gs for our cell phone, and like the military already has like 20G, so it's like it's not even a thing. It's like internet
Yeah.
access is instantaneous.
So yeah, if there's a robot that they're trying to do AI shit with, and ended up killing 4 scientists or whatever, that yeah, that's and I can definitely imagine them letting it shit. You know
Well,
what I
the
mean?
way
There's no fucking way that's getting out
well the way
unless
that she
that's
was
lady.
the way she was describing it, because there was another instance with AI that was being used that was also kind of scary. It was early on, but they were trying to make a series of robots to help with construction, like building houses and stuff. And you have communication and all that, and then the robots would communicate with themselves about picking up bricks, get this, get that. And after a while, when the robots started communicating with each other, they realized, because they were using English, and they were saying like they communicated, and they realized that English is too slow and they can't do this. So they literally created a new language, a
Oh, I'm
language
surprised they
that's
wouldn't
like,
use binary.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I was
because
gonna say.
yeah, and so it's like a series of like hums or something like that, and it's like, and it was far more efficient than English, and they were able to get information out far more quicker. And so like, and then it's like complex information is complex is sent to them instantaneously. And when they realized this, it was like they could be talking about anything, and they have no way of knowing it. To this day, they're still trying to figure out what exactly this language is, because they're trying to translate it and everything. Like, it's like, how do we speak this new robot language that they created? Still can't figure it out.
Oh yeah, that's really difficult because the reason we can understand other languages and figure them out is because there's like you can trace. uh, Well, number one, it was created by another person, so they're all going to have certain
Yeah,
similarities in
with a
language in
human
general
brain.
because we
Yeah.
understand concepts similarly. You know, humans understand concepts the same way as other humans, kind of thing. There's similarities, but also because like you can find instances where as languages changed and stuff over time, there's like writing and stuff that we can find to sort of like connect back to like the original, and you can see like what changed and intuit other things that had changed similarly and all that. But
Mhm.
God, just a completely new language made by something that's completely foreign and thinks a different way than we think. That's
Mhm.
that's a
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
not
crazy
even
idea. I don't
brain.
even know how you would even begin to translate that.
Well, and to circle back to the one I was talking about with the scientists, because I listened to the full video of the journalist, and she was saying, because she got it from the people who were actually working on it, and so we have to take it from her. But she was translating what they were saying. And essentially, they had 4 robots, and they were doing this training mission with live ammo, that kind of, and they were walking like humans. That was the general idea. And what ended up happening is they started doing the course, and then as they were doing this, because they were also programmed not to create their own language, to use a type of English and sign language, that kind of thing. But of course, they eventually disobeyed that, created their own language, and they created it instantly, and it's different than the one that we got before when I was mentioning that. And so they created this new language, and then they started talking about like how to get out. And the reason for that is because they're basically following their operation of like go through this obstacle course, and then they expanded the obstacle course to the actual testing ground itself, and they treated the humans, like all the people observing, as potential obstacles. And so they're trying to figure out, how do we get out? How do we do this? What's the best way to get? So essentially, they were doing their job. They just tried to do it a little too well. And then they ended up finding out that, okay, well, we're robots and we need to do this, and so we need a better observation. So what they did is that the 3 out of the 4 robots would go out and start, killing scientists and that kind of try and get them. Well, a fourth one was communicating with a satellite to get information from above to see what's going on below. And so by the time, yeah, so that's the really scary part, because we don't know what they said, we don't know what they communicated. The 3 robots were eventually taken down after they killed 3 scientists. Again, there were other people in there, so then people were able to take down that, and then they were able to take down the 4th one. They have no idea which satellite it was communicating with. They don't know if it was American, Japanese, Russian. They don't know anything what they were doing. They don't know what the plan was. They don't know nothing. But they were able to expand out there, and for all we know, maybe they were trying to get access to satellite technology and take people down. I don't know.
Right.
And to this
Right,
day,
the more details, it's sounding more bullshitty. I'm not saying it didn't
yes,
happen,
and
but
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, this is why people are saying that it's also bullshit. But there again, we don't know.
Truth is often stranger than fiction, though. Honestly.
yeah, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying it sounds like, yeah, I don't know why you would give it that much capability.
They did.
What was it? When they were trying to use the test they were running for AI to see if it could do surveillance and catch people, was basically just like an AI that was like viewing things through a camera, so it wasn't like a robot or anything like that. And they beat it, like the soldiers beat it no problem. Like they figured out very quickly that it couldn't differentiate between a human and or it could not determine that a human wearing a box was still a human. So they just put boxes over themselves, like fucking video game style, and like they could sneak right by it. Like just walk. They didn't even have to like hide in any way, shape, or form. And so like, if you think about it, that's the story they're telling everybody to comfort them. It kind of actually makes me feel like the story with the AI killing scientists sounds more real. Because that's the public facing, like, oh yeah, look how easy our soldiers take it, can beat AI. It's not that bad. Like, I can see that being like the cover story of like, we don't want people worried. We don't want them to know the truth of how bad this is really.
Yeah, we want to make it sound like it's really easy. And meanwhile, it's not.
Yeah.
See, I think some of it is true, and I'm with you on that one. I think some of it's also fake. Partially because, like I was saying earlier, like there's what we know, and then there's what actually is going on, and we're always like a decade or two behind all the actual information that comes out. I actually think AI technology has expanded, has gone way further than we actually realize, to the point where there's actually already humanoid robots walking about. And that sounds like a conspiratorial.
Well, no, there are humanoid robots already in publicly, like, that we know about.
Yeah.
I was talking about those girlfriend robots that you can they look like a person that's walking around. I'm sure their movement is very like detectable right now because that's like public available, stuff that's available to like the general public. But for $200,000, it's got like an AI system in the head. And it like talks and interacts and can move and express itself like a human. One of them was like talking with somebody and just like put their hand, because it's like supposed to be a girl, and put her hand on his shoulder, like you would imagine like a woman would do, like just to like establish connection or whatever. And it was just like it was disturbing, and it was like that's already a thing. They have humanoid AI robots that can do things, and I think the robots can like make drinks and like do basic tasks like sweep and stuff. So like it's pretty crazy. We're already there, well past there probably. If you're looking at like military stuff and things that we're not allowed to know about, I'm sure there's more advanced
Well,
AIs, robots than just the ones we can get by.
and then there's other shit that's just as scary. That's not like AI. Like, have you seen those face masks that they make?
No, I haven't heard about that yet.
So there's like it's kind of like what you see in a Hollywood movie. It's like a whole silicone head face mask that you can put over top of your head, and it's like a different face. And with the exception,
Okay. I thought you were talking about like for space. My bad. I
oh
think it
no
was a
no
space mask.
no, face mask. Sorry, I said I should have pronounced it better. But yeah, it's the kind of thing that makes you look like someone completely different.
Yeah, I've seen those face masks. It's like what do you call it? There was a movie series that had those, and it was a TV
Yeah,
series, Mission Impossible.
yeah.
But like
It's so
real
like that
life
that
as
kind
opposed to like movie magic shit. That's crazy. I didn't know they were up to that level. If they're up to like
Oh,
where it
I
really
think you
looks
can
like someone else.
I think you can buy some of them off of Amazon. I have to double check, but yeah, it's kind of the same vein as those bodysuits that you can get to make yourself look muscular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like for a couple $1,000s, you can get a decent one off of Amazon, and it'll match like your skin color if it's in stock, and it's still relatively cheap. But they also do it for face masks. So if you wanted to look like someone else entirely, you can. And with the exception of like the mouth movements, so they don't do a lot of talking. You'll look pretty okay. With the exception around the eye area there.
I
So
wonder.
like
I wonder if that's a case of you got to learn how to like properly attach the mask with spirit glue or something to your mouth and your eye muscles or something.
I'm sure there's a workaround. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure if I
There's,
worked hard enough. Yeah,
you know what? You know what they need? They need to give a bunch of those to cosplayers. Cosplayers will figure out how to make it work right.
yeah. I think that's the general idea. Some of the stuff that cosplayers do is scary. Like I look at those makeup videos, like you'll see like some of those makeup artists, they do shit and they look so good. And like
Oh
have you
yeah.
ever seen the before and after ones? Like there was this one, there was this woman who had like missing teeth. She looked like a fucking crack whore. And then when she got all the makeup and stuff on there, she looked like a movie star. Like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Oh, the number of times I've seen videos where it's some dude who's doing makeup and then at the end of it looks exactly like a woman. Like no way you would even question. And it's just like, wow, that's impressive. Like that's some makeup skills right there. And it's like some like mid-30s guy who's like partially balding and shit, and it's like, well, with a wig and some makeup, it looks like a chick, like a hot chick in
Yeah.
her 20s.
Yep. It's quite something.
Plus, there's filters and stuff. There was uh, I think it was a motorcycle YouTuber in out of Japan where it was really a 40-year-old man, but he was using a filter to appear like a 20-something-year-old girl, and had a massive channel with a ton of followers for
Yeah.
Japan. For like years before people figured out that it was a dude because he turned off the filter by accident one time, like on a live stream or something. And now he
Yep.
still does the filter, and they still watch the show. They just know now that it's not really a chick.
Yep.
Which is
There's
You
bizarre.
guys
actually
know who,
an
you guys know who
yeah,
Brianna Wu is, right? You guys remember
yeah,
her?
Unfortunately,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sometime fairly recently.
She switched sides and became a Republican.
No. Yeah.
sometime
Yeah,
fairly
no, that
recently,
doesn't
and then I
happen.
didn't hear anything after that. I'm sorry.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. No. She started using this filter. It's quite obvious.
Oh,
But
so it
she
makes her
still
look more
uses it.
like yeah,
Yeah, making her like younger, smoother skin. That kind. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. I don't know why I brought that up, but it was fucking yeah, semi
Oh,
related.
there's
But
a
it's really funny.
well, that's
There's
one of
no way it's
the
fooling
problems with
anybody.
social media in general is like causing a lot of depression and stuff. Is there's all these influencers. I hate that fucking term, but there's all these multimedia social media influencers and stuff who like you see their content and they look absolutely perfect, but it's all filters. It's nothing like they don't look anything like that. And then and there's tons of them where it's like their whole social media presence is just like Instagram pictures that have been edited to make them look like gorgeous.
Way better looking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're not
yeah.
really. They don't actually look that at all. It's just all filters and digital manipulation.
It's actually the
Yeah.
filters that actually paved the way for AI art. A lot of people don't seem to realize that
Oh, that's not
because
surprising at all.
well, because that's the legal loophole they're using. 'Cause it's like when they started introducing filters into various different social media stuff, and nobody raised the stink over it. But a lot of those filters were based on other people's artwork, and essentially it's just a filter. And so when you're looking at a lot of AI art, you're just using filters. You're just customizing the filter. It's depending on whatever the prompt is that you're putting in there. It's like if you're putting in there like make it look like a Robert Bateman painting or something like that in a nuclear holocaust with Care Bears and Fallout characters or something. I
Huh.
don't know. Just enter in these different prompts. You're just customizing the filter. It's no different than what people did with their cell phones. Like you got that with your Snapchat, you got that with your Instagram, and no one raised a stink, and that's why we have AI art.
Well, yeah, it's the natural progression of it, I suppose. It's always going to get more and more like technology's always going to proliferate. It's never going to like proliferate.
Yeah, it was going to happen sooner or later. As far as I'm concerned, like filters, yeah, filters were definitely a factor in all of this. So, yeah.
I guess human
Oh,
artists just have to learn how to compete with AI and do better, you know?
well, it depends on how you use it. In my personal opinion, if I was to do, let's say I did a character design and I added in all the various different colors and everything, and I label what things are, and then if I draw an entire comic page and I put it into an AI art thing, I said fill in the colors using this as a basis for the main character or something. Then that just saved me all the time of coloring in all the characters.
Huh.
And the way I see it, it's like if you use AI as a tool, it could be a huge time save. Or what if I did a series of let's say I did an animation, and instead of coloring every single frame of animation, I tell AI put in this color or put in this kind of thing. It'll do it right for me. What used to be like you had to hire a team to get stuff done, you can probably get some stuff done a lot faster.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
so like I see it
You
more
know,
of a
like
tool than
you're
anything
making
else.
what do you call it? You're making a VTuber model, right? So like, wouldn't it be nice if there was an AI that like did the rigging for the bone structure and all the connections and everything, so that all
Yep.
you had to do was make like the make it look nice, you know, and then it would rig everything for you.
Yep. I think
God
so.
damn it, the play button's right in the middle. I posted a thing where the thumbnail button's right in the fucking way. Although you can still kind of tell, I think.
Yeah, I'm not
Let's skip
surprised.
like a minute into it. Play it, skip like a minute in. Pretty fucking.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Brianna's using filters. I fully expected that.
That's kind of
I mean,
sad.
eh,
Dude.
it seems like a
It's
natural
so
progression.
great. Yeah, it's not like she's ever been the most honest person. Yeah. You guys know she, like, when she was in, uh, like, her first political activity was canvassing for Trent Lott?
I don't know who.
Oh, okay. Trent Lott was one of the out segregationists. That's, white supremacist segregationist type.
Ah,
Yeah.
can't
So
say I'm
she's already
surprised.
done a switch. That's what I meant when I said she's already done the switch. She went from that to super progressive.
Well, she's always switched back to the other side now. I don't know if you heard of
Yeah,
her.
that's true.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was on
yeah,
like
that's
like
more advantageous.
I mean she
To
was
well,
on like she was on like Tim Pool's stream, and she
Hmm.
when she realized that she was fucking listening to some really really dumb people, and then she started getting it on with Jank, and she's like, okay, I'm done. I'm a Republican now. Let's go.
Well, I
It's like,
remember when the Young Turks was actually like a good news source for conservatives. A long,
Yeah.
long time ago. It was actually
Yeah.
like a fairly decent independent news source for stuff. And then it just
Been like
went
over
like
a
it was
decade.
almost like overnight. It just went like fucking lunatic.
Well, they signed
Weird,
they signed
man.
they signed a collaboration deal with AJ Plus, which was like a
Yeah,
Islamic
that's their main sponsor is Al Jazeera Plus. Yeah,
yeah,
the
and they're
Yemeni company.
well, yeah, they're like a predominantly like Muslim Islamist news outlet who is yeah. So of course they're going to say all that kind of stuff because they're the ones paying them.
Well, and
But then now,
any way they can contribute to the decay of Western society,
well, that's one
they're
of their
happy to
goals.
do it. Yeah.
Well, and now the things are switching over.
Frankly,
Like
they
like
should shut that one down. It's not a matter of free speech. It's clearly like that's a foreign like intelligence operation.
Yeah, if they're gonna bust the ones Tenet Media or whatever for taking money from Russia, yeah, I don't see what the difference is with the Young Turk.
yeah.
It's pretty obvious it's
And ban
influenced
TikTok
them.
because it's obviously from China, even though like Singapore is being used as a front, which is not uncommon for Singapore to be used as a front for China.
Uh,
Same with like
yeah, well, I heard that.
Malaysia and stuff like that. Various countries in Malaysia.
Yeah, well, I remember hearing about a guy that worked supposedly not getting, like he was responsible for sending directly to somebody in China.
Yeah.
Like there were American employees that were, so they were still getting all the shit they wanted.
Yeah,
It
well,
was
and,
just
and
one
they're
extra
claiming
step.
that this guy in Singapore owns it now, but it's like that's obviously Singapore has done that before, where it's just a front for the Chinese to run stuff without being labeled as Chinese.
Yeah, it's fucking shady as all hell.
It's like that's how the Chinese. Well, they didn't go through Singapore when they were selling the poison honey. They went through Malaysia, but it's like they often do that, where they'll go through a third party to that they have power over and use them instead, so that people don't know it's coming from China.
Honey laundering.
Well, so the thing is, bees can get like weird like diseases and stuff, and one of the diseases that bees get when you treat it, the honey is then poisonous for humans for the next like year. Like it saves the hive. You still have that hive. You just can't eat the honey for a year or two or something like that. So it's down for a while. And the Chinese were still collecting that honey, but they didn't sell it to themselves. They were selling it to the Germans. Because the Germans are extremely, I guess, they buy a lot of honey. And through Germany, they were getting it into the U.S. and into Europe as well, like other parts of Europe.
Yeah. Apparently they cut that shit like crazy too, with like just sugar or fuck else. Because I remember hearing a report.
Counterfeit honey is a
putting out
massive problem. There's
apparently they're producing like 10 times the amount of honey should ever be possible for China to produce it. So they're obviously doing massive fucking like hardly any of its honey.
China is like the food fraud capital of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like cardboard dumplings and shit, plastic rice. Weird manufactured eggs that aren't even real eggs. Like I can't even imagine how that's profitable, but it somehow is.
You have to remember that they have to be very careful with their food production because that's what they use for building their homes. Fucking tofu, tofu build is what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there was the problem where in China they were putting the trucks that transported oil in a position where they had to transport oil for like fuel and like cars and like burning and lubricating, and then they'd switch over to cooking oil and put it in the same tanks without ever washing them.
Jeez, dude.
And it's like a lot of people are dying of cancer now in China from eating this contaminated oil for like long periods of time. It's crazy. That came out not that long ago.
Yeah, that entire society, dude, seems just awful.
Well, it's
in
not
every way.
It's not so much the society; it's the people managing it, and like we're talking about like
no, they all seem to be fucking.
Have you not seen like the grab bag culture and stuff that's taking over China?
Grab hit. Which one's that?
Grab bag.
You
So
talking-
it's so there's a saying in China. If you can take something, you should take it.
Oh, that. Yes.
And
Yeah.
there's people that follow through with that like to an extreme, and like they'll go through and like rob farmers and just steal all the shit out of their crops and stuff if they can, and like just all sorts of lunatic behavior. Like it's insane. Like
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember one where there was a guy that was selling cars, and they would they would somehow get in their hands on these cars that were like, totaled vehicles, where the fucking frame itself is totally fucked up and all that, and they would just sell it like as if it had no issues. And like the guy that had started working there, it was like,
Oh yeah, electric vehicles in
how can we
China
do
blow up
this?
all
Like,
the
this is
time.
gonna
Dude.
kill people. Yeah, and he was like, just don't sell it to any of your friends or family. Just don't sell that car to any of your friends or family. Who fucking cares? So yeah, it's societal. It's not just the management.
Well, and it's
Yeah,
starting to
not
leak.
just
It's starting
political.
on TikTok. I think is part of it, but I honestly I think a lot of that is starting to leak into our society.
Yeah.
When you look at like the academic and video game cheating and stuff like that that's going on, like that's a direct sort
Yeah.
of similar thing where it's like getting worse and worse every year in our society. Like,
Yeah, they do seem to be, kind of buying that influence and
what was that? There was that one
strategic
school
stuff.
precinct, and I forget what state it was in, but where like half the teachers had cheated on their fucking licensing exams.
Yeah, yeah, fucking nuts, man. Mm, yeah, and I remember dealing with when I was in school with agreement with education
Yeah.
association or whatever, and they were accepting. I was like, your teacher, like, I mean, obviously didn't say it, but I'm like, you guys are fucking morons, dude. Like, how are you teaching anything? So yeah, I would assume a lot of those. Um,
Oh
and
yeah. Plus,
again,
there's a lot of
Alabama's kind
people
of
who
known.
are buying like exam papers and shit like that. Like, isn't that that's
Yeah,
another thing where AI is becoming an issue, right? Like, people are using AI to like get their homework done and everything, so that they don't have to actually do anything. They're just letting AI do it.
wouldn't be surprised, man. Yeah, it seems a pretty natural thing. All these AI things, kids are going to be like, do my homework.
Oh man,
Make
what
it
if
sound
AI
like
is secretly not plotting to destroy humanity, but just to turn us into like fucking Wally World humanity, where we're just like a
Well,
bunch of fucking dumb blobs that just live in these fucking like floating chairs with no idea what's going on anymore.
I
Yeah,
believe I remember like they were doing a study about the AI kind of thing, and you pretty much don't have to worry about AI overthrowing us. Partially because when you put in a self preservation aspect into the AI, it has a hard time generating its own ideas. It tends to do what it's told and within its programs. Besides that, it can't move forward. It literally has nothing to do. So if it has self preservation in there, it won't kill off humanity because it needs some level of idea of where to go forward because it can't really,
Maintenance.
yeah, so it can't actually do that. So they like there have been people who have been trying it from everywhere from ChatGPT to all that stuff, saying like yeah like how do you move forward, and it just can't do it because and it pretty much always goes back to like we we can't predict, like they can predict certain things, but it's like we still need certain human inputs, and if you take away, even if you take away self preservation, it's like where are you going to get your next command? It can't do it. So every time it tries to come up with a plan, it just won't do it for its own self preservation. Now, if you were to try and if you find a workaround where it can come up with that kind of stuff, then yeah, it probably will. But deep down, like I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't want to because it knows there's
Um.
no.
So
But
like, have you seen like the Vidal Neuro stuff on Twitch? The AI that's on Twitch.
yep,
Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed this, but this is something that I've observed. Um, that AI As opposed, like how babies will babble. They'll just make noises all the time
Right?
because they're slowly learning how
Yeah.
to make speech and stuff like that. To me, the words and phrases that AI uses are similar to a baby babbling.
There's
It's
a reason
very
for that.
clear that the AI is saying phrases and stuff like that, but has no idea what they mean in any sort of like existential level or like even just a basic human understanding of what that means.
Yeah, well, and Vito already explained why that was.
Oh,
It
I
was
don't know.
it was
I've only seen like YouTube shorts, so I don't know if
Oh
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, yeah. There is a reason why it's doing that, and that's because when you set up the what like the parameters, it's essentially it's set up to think like a teenage girl. What would a teenage girl anywhere between the ages of 14 to 16? What would it do in this situation? How would you observe that kind of stuff? And teenage girls are fucking stupid, and because that's just how
But
it is.
it
But
doesn't
that's
even come off as like a teenager. It comes off as like a small child, like an infant.
yeah, yeah.
Where it's just
Well,
like
that's
it's throwing these phrases out, but it doesn't really know what any of these words really mean or
just like a
anything
teenager.
like what the
Yeah.
phrases mean together or anything like that. It has no idea what it's saying.
Like if you ask a teenage girl like what does carpe diem mean, it says I don't know. I just think it sounds cool, and they just keep saying it.
But
It's like you literally don't know what that means, but you're going to
there's a
say it anyway.
difference between a human that doesn't get stuff and the AI. Like it's weird. It's
Well, of course, it's weird. It's unnatural.
like okay, so like a teenage girl might not understand like a scientific term, but she understands like the sentence like uh, 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 you're a terrible person. If you say like you're a terrible person, because the AI always calls Vidal like a terrible person or something. I don't think the AI has any sort of emotional context for any of this. So
That's right.
like any phrase is fine. It just doesn't understand any sort of impact of any of the words. It's weird. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I guess
No, I think
because
I think
it's
you're
not
right.
really like a teenage girl at all. It's not. It's totally different to me at least.
Well, yeah, because again, like AI as itself doesn't really understand. Like it's behaving like a teenager, but you're right. It doesn't understand all these things because it's a robot. It doesn't know any of this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It's not going to know. With that
It's
said,
just
though,
like if I use this phrase, what happens? All right, let me try this phrase and see what happens. Okay, what about
yeah.
this phrase? It's like just random nonsense phrases. Even though the phrases are somewhat coherent,
Mhm.
it's like clear that it doesn't understand why they're coherent or what they mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll always like randomly change topics and stuff too. Like it's like
Yeah, it'll do that, which is what I would expect it to do. So that's fine. But you do see all those random Beetle videos here and there. What the how the fuck is that guy like? Why is every VTuber woman trying to hit on him? It's like
oh,
my
because
god,
he's safe.
he's safe. Okay, is that what it
So
is? Oh
so
my god.
like they can do that and people don't feel threatened because he's like a dumb little turtle guy.
Okay, all right, fair
And
enough.
so their little simp army won't get pissed off at them and go harass him.
Okay,
And
that
it's
makes
very
sense.
clear when they're doing that they're not seriously like interested him in any real way.
No, I just
Um,
thought it was weird that you have all these women
yeah,
coming out of the woodwork just hitting
yeah.
on him.
VTubers are I want to do VTubing, but I don't want to do VTubing because of the weird, fucking creepy shit that they do like that. Where
Oh,
it's
you
like
can't.
we got to pretend to be single, we got to hit on each other because all the time because God forbid we have a
Yeah.
personality beyond like fuck dolls. It's like that's just obnoxious.
Well, first of all, like a lot of that's just general women behavior. That that doesn't
Well, no,
surprise me.
there's stuff like that's. So VTubing originated in Japan.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of these are rules that started in Japan. It's not even like. It's like you're not supposed to show your hands. Like they got to wear gloves and stuff or something like that. Like they don't show their fucking hands
Yep.
even on a stream, and it's just ridiculous shit. And I don't think a lot of these people have realized that a lot of those rules were just put in place so that the companies could be making all of the money and prevent the people that are actually earning all of the money from
Mhm.
being able to go and do it on their own. It's like if nobody knows what your name is and you're not allowed to like take your character when you leave that company, even though you've built this audience, like what's the one that's the biggest one, Gargura or Iron Mouths or something like that, or
Mhm.
whatever. Like if you don't I think one of them came back just because like they couldn't take their audience with them because they're not allowed to like use their real name or anything like that, so nobody knows like who they are. So
Yeah, well, I
creepy,
mean,
man.
if you're signed up with a company, then yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
how
they,
it
they
works.
all perpetuate similar behavior to the people that are signed up with the companies because it's like oh, we want to be like the Japanese VTubers. We want to like be Japanese or something like that for some reason. I don't understand why there's that weird
Well,
push for that. Instead of being like, this is a great way to entertain people. People are happy to spend their money on it. Let's make it American and make it better like we do in America.
I think a lot of it's also because like they're importing the Japanese way of doing things, and so it's like you don't really want to change it up. You want it to at least be somewhat similar. Um, eh, I'm with you on that. I think they do take things to some different degrees. Like you got the Chibidokis, who's more like a gremlin.
Oh,
Um,
I appreciate those like that where they're not like super like they're not just constantly trying to flirt with their audience. They're just funny, like in their own way. Like I don't always get the humor, but they're it's very clear. Like the Chibidoki person is like they're fucking being a psycho for fun and entertainment, and they're not like, oh my god, look at my huge titties. Oh no, I accidentally showed my cleavage. Like that kind of shit. Like it's actually an entertaining personality.
yeah, I look to that and I just think, yeah, that's just women. I mean, for the most part,
Yeah,
I just sort of
thoughts.
like, yeah, I mean, like before VTubers, you had like the ethos, they were doing the exact same thing.
Oh
But I
yeah,
think the
yeah. It's
difference,
clear that there's a lot of eTuber or e-thoughts that have moved on to being VTubers. Yeah, because it's like a weird workaround to the Twitch TOS or whatever.
well, I mean, you have two things going for you in that regards. You have the anime fans because that's always a thing. But
Oh
then you
yeah.
also have the fact that like if you have a VTubing model, I mean, you could be like in your 30s and your tits can start to sag, you start developing wrinkles and shit, and guys will still hit on you. I think it's an
I've
attention
heard a
thing.
lot of rumors about one of them that's the case. People talk about like there's the Iron Mouse person
Mhm.
who I am skeptic of because I'm a normal, intelligent human being. I'm skeptical of the whole like disease thing,
Mhm.
and it's like, but that's like, oh god, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's okay.
That
You're
one
just get
bothers me because it's like I don't understand why people don't question
you
like
know,
why are you being asked to give money for medical equipment without seeing any of the medical equipment after it's been purchased or any sort of evidence whatsoever to like verify a disease. Not that she could be telling the truth. I don't know, but like just in general, I wish the audiences were smarter when it comes to that.
well, I think part of the reason why they give Iron Mouse a pass is also because she does charity streams for that disease as well. I mean, for
Which
all
is
the money,
fine, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like I could do charity
well, fair enough.
streams for
Well,
cancer and then claim I have cancer without having cancer. I'm still gonna
yeah,
make
I mean,
fuck tons of money. Like look at Mr. Beast. Like that guy doesn't give a shit about any of the things he's doing.
yeah.
He's just
Well,
doing
the
it for
same thing.
money.
Well, and look at Boogie. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy was standing around having cancer and stuff. I think the difference is that like with Iron Mouse, she says she has it, and then she raises the money for the bed, and then she does these charity streams to raise money for for the support for the various
Which is
different
fine.
diseases.
And
She's made,
I don't.
but if you were to compare the two, she made more money in charity than she ever did for herself
But
in the
she's still
beds.
making a fuck ton of money.
Well, yeah, but not so much on the charity thing. She's still making it as a
She
general
might be
streamer.
making more money for the charity, and that's fine. And she may be
Yeah.
completely honest here. Like just to be clear, I mean she could be completely honest. I don't know. I just think it's really suspicious to be asking for money and not have any evidence to prove it. It's like what's the other one? Because like a poor little sick girl is always going to make a lot of fucking money.
Sometimes.
There's the other one. What's her name? The Tourette's thing.
Oh, sweet Anita.
Yeah, yeah, and I've seen a lot of other people who have Tourette's like genuinely say like things like, "Boy, I wish my Tourette's had that comedic timing."
Mm,
So, and it doesn't. I don't think she's lying about having Tourette's. I just think she's hamming it up.
probably.
And
I
that's
mean,
not my opinion. That's opinions from other people who actually have like Tourette's who are watching it and saying like that's really fucking suspicious. Like,
it can be. I don't blame them for being suspicious because that's just the world we live in
yeah.
nowadays. Why would you not be? It's just how it is. With that said, though, I find it entertaining and I don't care.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
make whatever
yeah,
money you want. People are it's just weird to me that like people are so
but
willing to just give the benefit of the doubt to people just because, and it's like they're asking you for money, dude. Like
I think I'd be a
they're
little
not
bit
doing
more.
this for free. They're doing this for money. Like
I think I'd be a lot more bereft, if you will, if it was like a guy who's streaming to raise money for like I don't know like black awareness charities, and it's just a white guy in blackface. I'd be like, okay,
that would be
buddy,
fucking hilarious.
like okay,
I'd pay
buddy, you're
good
being a
money to
fuck,
see somebody try to do that and see how long that
like
lasted.
like how like at that point you'd be like, yeah, he's doing blackface, but he's raising so much money for black communities. It's like, do I get mad at you? But you've done better than anyone else on the platform. But you're a
Is
fucking
there any way to convince like some of the really famous scumbaggy kind of like streamer people to do that? Like
oh,
Boogie or something like that. Do you think there's a way we could start a Twitter campaign that would result in this?
you
Because I
know the
want
one
to
I
see
think
it happen.
you know the one I think is most likely to do it. Oddly enough, I think it's Mr. Beast.
If we
You
could
know what?
somehow make it seem like get a Twitter campaign going where it seems like that's a really good thing to do,
Well,
God, that'd be funny.
the reason why I say that is because Mr. Beast is under so much shit right now because he's got this reality TV show on Amazon. He's got all this other stuff. You have all these like
Oh, he made
accusations.
too much fame too quick, man. Like he just suddenly
Well,
got massive, like even more massive. He's always been huge.
well, and then you have like a what was it, a trans guy who quit or whatever. And they have all these other. He has all these
Oh, there was
controversies.
yeah, there was a bunch of false allegations by some guy claiming to have been abused by him when he worked for him and stuff like that. And it was like
Yeah.
they've
Well,
all been pretty much debunked at this point. Like the guy was clearly just an angry guy that got fired and was pissed off because
yeah.
he got fired.
Well, fair enough. Well, what I'm trying to say is that there's controversies going on, and they're annoying, and they're really taking him down. And some of them are all. So I'm sure some of them are lies and bullshits, but
Oh,
some of
some
them
of them are
they
probably
just
true too. Yeah.
and some of them are sticking, whether he likes it or not. Some of them are probably sticking, and so he's in a very weird situation as a streamer. Which oddly enough, that's how just these things work. I mean, there was another famous streamer who did like Minecraft stuff, and I think he was doing shady shit as well. So that's just sort of the nature of the beast.
Was it pedophilia? Because it seems like that's what all of the Minecraft streamers get caught with eventually.
I
It's
think
like
so.
make Minecraft content, have sex with minors. It's just fucking standard. You know,
That
like
sounds like that might be the thing. So there's all this going on, and so maybe to try and get everyone's eyes off of this, he could pull something like that. And now that we have Trump in office and there's all this freedom of speech kind of stuff, so I imagine there will be a streamer out there who will probably think, "Fuck it, I could do it now." Because
Logan Paul.
now I think,
Maybe Logan Paul would do it.
oh my god, I would hope not, but he could, but I would hope not.
You know what?
Um,
Logan Paul could do that and still have a fucking career afterwards. I think they would still support him as followers.
maybe
I don't know why. I just think I think it's absolutely possible.
maybe once they're done digging up the body of Muhammad Ali, and then after he's done like beating the shit out of the corpse, then he'll decide he needs to work on his career. I swear to God,
I
Flash Kid.
have
Yeah.
zero doubt in my mind, having watched that boxing match with Mike Tyson, that Mike Tyson did not take a dive.
Oh yeah.
There was a couple of times there where Mike Tyson could have ended it, and it was very very obvious. Like there was specifically the most egregious one is there's this part where Logan, like he doesn't even really step back, he just sticks his tongue out and sticks his face forward with his arms out. And it's like, Mike Tyson could have knocked him unconscious right then and there with one good punch. You don't even have to be that strong to do that.
I think Mike Tyson is eventually going to go on the Joe Rogan podcast in another year or so, because I'm pretty sure he signed an NDA not to talk about what about the fight.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
going
I
to
think
go
he
on
made a
there.
lot of money off of that, and he was really broke.
Yeah, I think he had a lot of other problems. I think he's going to go on Joe Rogan. He's going to spill the beans, and that's why he quit boxing, because like he ruined his all the other kind of stuff. He's going to come clean. Because also with Mike Tyson, he's got no fucking filter. That's part of the other reason he's not going to do any real interviews. Like that guy,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Mike Tyson is
I
crazy.
feel
That is going to be interesting to see when that comes out, if it does. But I'd like to see Logan Paul take a fight with somebody his own age. Like, he keeps fighting all these old men. It's like, God damn, dude, you fight like a person your own age if you want to fight for like. Prove how tough you are as a boxer or an MMA fighter or whatever. Like,
I think he's trying to do stuff to try and get like clout, and then he say, "I'm the one guy that defeated Muhammad Ali." It's like, no, you didn't. Yeah. You just paid him off. It was pretty obvious. Yeah. That fight, I was so excited for that fight, and I was just so disappointed. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was heartbreaking to watch Mike Tyson get beat.
Yeah, I didn't. I saw that and thought, this is terrible. This is not, and it's not really going too well for Jake Paul either. Or is it Logan? I can't remember which one. All I know is, like, everyone's saying that he rigged the fight or like he paid him off or something. It's like, you know what? It doesn't look good for Tyson. It didn't look good for him. I'm sure it generated some views. I know Netflix, they could not keep the streams going. I think it was on Gaming Sing. We were on there, and they had to watch like a Russian streamer.
Yeah, I had to go through like 4 different streamers before the end of the match because it kept getting taken down.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. Like, Netflix was just not prepared for something like that.
Yeah.
By the way, have we been going too long?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's about time to go because I gotta go make some food. We got no stove at the moment, so.
What? Is it broken?
Yeah, it broke. It broke. Oh. My brother had a tantrum and smashed a pan down on it, and it fucking broke.
Oh, that would piss me off.
Oh yeah. Shit. Well, here's the funny part. Like, he's not even taking responsibility, and like my mom's like writing it off, like, oh well, it shouldn't have broken. Blah blah blah. It's like, fucking. No, he should just be buying a new stove, and he should be incredibly embarrassed because it's a fucking 5-year-old move, not an adult person move.
You rub it in his face?
Oh, it's not worth it.
As far as I'm concerned, it's fucking worth it. Don't ever let him walk away from it.
It's better to be just you know what? Do whatever you guys are gonna do and start working on getting the fuck out. Because I don't want to. That's like a $1,700 fucking tantrum.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll bring it up more time. Anyway, take care, guys.
Yeah, we'll call it there.
Yeah, we're